I'm here with Rob Clark, Todd Mealy, who we'll hear coming up in the Chalk Talk analysis. Tonight is September 16th, 2022, here in the town of Columbia, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Columbia Crimson Tide versus Lancaster Catholic Crusaders. On September 17, 2021, Columbia beat Lancaster Catholic in a game that saw 101 points scored, 60-41 Columbia. That was behind Robert Footman's 4 TDs and 2 rushing TDs, 4 passing. Over 500 yards in total offense. The QB is now at Millersville, ironically not too far from Lancaster Catholic High School. He won't be getting any rides to school from the Lancaster Catholic folks over there in Millersville anytime soon. But good news for Catholic, Footman is gone. They're 3-0, playing with momentum and a strong sense of experience and depth. Coach Chris led them to a 6-13 record first 2 years, but he thinks his senior leadership is what's going to put them over the edge this year. Tonight is the first test for Lancaster Catholic as they face a solid Columbia team led by first-year coach Brady Mathias, 25 years old, the youngest coach in the conference, former Hempfield assistant and an assistant at Columbia before Daryl Bud Kyle went to Eastern York. Coach Mathias preaches no iron team. We all heard the cliche, but it's working already. 2 big wins over Eastern York, 34-7, and Hanover, 30-7. A respectable loss to a very tough Elko team, 21-12 last week. Tonight, Columbia looks to get back on their winning track here at home. Coming up tonight is a student-athlete spotlight sponsored by Capital Blue Cross and OSS Health, where we feature the starting QB for Columbia and Coach Brady Mathias on our Coaches Spotlight, sponsored by Jack Giambalvo. Our Chalk Talk analysis will have Rob Clark and Todd Mealy giving their perspective. Tonight, we are missing our lead announcer, Gary Sutton. He's under the weather, but we'll take over. Nobody does it as good as Gary, and Columbia knows that. In 1987, he won the state championship, first ever in school history. Gary has an affection for the Columbia community. Gary spent some time this week getting some footage of the town, the historic town of Columbia. So our own Gary Sutton is going to be presenting to you a feature tonight that you're going to enjoy. Sit back. It's 7 minutes. It's about the town of Columbia, more than just a sports town, a school, a community, a bunch of family, a bunch of friends.
Good evening and welcome to High School Sports Live, the pregame show. A very special little moment here tonight as we come to you live from Columbia. This is the Columbia High School football team against Lancaster Catholic tonight. But more importantly, it's a celebration of small towns here on the Susquehanna River. You know, you think about the small towns here in the Susquehanna: Middletown, Steelton, Columbia, Wrightsville, where Eastern York School is located. And they're schools that have had great success over the years, beating state championship games and district championship games, winning league titles, all that. And yet at the same time, what is it that makes these places so special? What makes them so special is the fact that in a day and age we're texting and we have social media and we're walking around with these things all the time, people see each other face to face. They see each other face to face in places like, the Rising Sun Hotel, or Bully's down here in the middle of Columbia, a nice little restaurant. Maybe they'll see you at a church or at a bar or down at the park along the Susquehanna River. But there's something special that pulls these people all together right here in a town called Columbia. You know, communities are pulled together by a lot of different things, but sports is what we're talking about tonight, and this is the place they'll talk about it. Right here in Locust Park, here in the middle of Columbia, they'll be talking about sports tomorrow, about the game that we're going to watch here tonight. And you know, one of the great things about this town is, like so many other river towns here along the Susquehanna, you got a church and a bar and an eating place on every corner. We see a church right up here. Down the street here, Hinkle's Pharmacy has been a place where people have met for years to talk about things at breakfast time, to talk about it at lunchtime, whatever. Here's a park where you have a bandstand. People will come in here all the time, play a little bit of basketball as well with the outdoor courts here, and just have some fun getting together and going face to face and talking about whatever it is that's on their minds. But usually sports is somewhere in that conversation in small town places like right here in Columbia. And of course, right across the street here, one of the old revered places, the Rising Sun, which was here during the speakeasy times back in the 1920s. That was a place where they had pewter mugs hanging up for people to stop in and get their favorite mug to drink their favorite beverage. They even made a sandwich there called the Shifter because people who worked at the factories here got them on a shift. They were made out of ham and cheese. Nothing real fancy, and yet at the same time a place where people would do some talking, where they'd talk about the big game last night or whatever was happening in Columbia at that time. This is small town basketball place, football place, and conversation place right here at Locust Park in the center of Columbia. And over the years, there have been legendary names here in Columbia, names like Mike Whistler, the sixth leading scorer in the history of Pennsylvania in basketball, or Jack Yo, the great football coach here, or Mike Burke, great football player here and coach later on. You've got the state championship finalist of 1958 who lost to Richie Allen in Wampum in that year. And of course, you got the 1987 boys basketball state champions right here at Columbia High School, the only one they've won in 100 plus years of playing basketball. And legends like Elmer Kreiser, the great coach here, who came here in 1952 to coach and coached until 1962, had been born here in Columbia, bred here in Columbia, died here in Columbia at this very gymnasium that now bears his name, the Elmer W. Kreiser Gymnasium. And when you think about Elmer Kreiser, here's a guy who won 205 games in 11 years, lost 37, and legend has it he only lost 11 home games in that period of time as a basketball coach. He won 7 Lancaster County titles. He was in an Eastern Regional Final, he won that. Legend has it also that Elmer Kreiser went around town nailing up basketball nets all over the place, on poles, anywhere he could find them, so kids would have a chance to play basketball wherever they were. One of the many basketball courts right here at Maples Courts. Down here next to a little place called Shantytown in the center of Columbia down on 4th and Union Street. This is a place where many a player has come to build himself up over the years. Many kids playing against adults and learning about all kinds of things, including life. It all happened right here at Maples on a regular basis. My first league that I had when I came here to coach in 1982 was here at Maples, and I had some kids who would come up to me and say, "Hey, coach, you know what? We can't get on the court much longer. What should we do?" I said, "Pick better teams and go out and try to win." And that's what they did. They went out and figured out how to win here, how to live here, how to get along with people here, and how to talk sports right here at Maples Courts, one of the many courts you'd find in a downtown community like Columbia, Pennsylvania. And take it from a coach right here that came here in 1982, I had a chance to coach here for 5 years of my life, later on 3 years in girls basketball, but we won a state championship in 1987. And I can remember standing here looking at this very school and coaching in this gym for a long time and coming back here from Hershey Park Arena. And one of the things that I remember about coming down the hill into Columbia that night, 15,000 plus people out on the streets. And all these people were cheering, and they were all galvanized together by the fact that a state championship had been won in something. In this case, it was basketball. And in the crowd, there was a lady who was kind of a seasoned lady, an elderly lady, who was standing there, and I doubt if she ever went to a baseball game or a football game or a basketball game at all. But as she stood there, I managed to kind of lock eyes with her as I was riding along in the van and we were going down the hill in a caravan. And I looked at her, and I remember seeing her smile and shaking her head and clapping like everyone else. And she said, "Thank you." Thank you. For what? For winning a championship in something, she probably wasn't even sure what it was, and yet at the same time, thank you for bringing me together with my community to be able to celebrate, because that's what she was doing that night. That's what these communities do night in and night out. The Steeltons, the Middletowns, the Wrightsvilles, the Columbias, and so many other communities around the state of Pennsylvania. Small communities where people gather together in the drugstores and the bars and the churches and the parks, and they talk about what's going on in their town. And isn't that something we're missing today in our country? A little bit of conversation. Well, here in Columbia, you always get a great conversation. It'll be about sports. Well, our little journey here around Columbia has brought us right back here to the football stadium. We're going to be set up tonight for the Columbia-Lancaster Catholic game. And so the question is, what binds communities like Columbia together? What do they do when they talk about things? They talk about politics, they talk about family, they talk about life, they talk about taxes, inflation, all those things, but they talk about sports. Sports brings a community together, and this community is very diverse. People of all different shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, religions, philosophies, all gather in one place, much as they do tonight in Friday night around America. But tonight here in Columbia, they're going to be talking about a football game. And the one thing that football game will do is bring everyone together, and they'll be talking about it tomorrow here in small town America, a little place known as Columbia. Thanks for taking this little tour with us here in our pregame show. And next up, our coach. We shine the spotlight on him. He's Brady Mathias here at Columbia, and we'll do it next year on High School Sports Live TV on Fox 43.2.
The Jet Giambavo family of dealerships. 9 great franchises in 5 locations. Buick GMC, Hyundai, Genesis of York, Stettler Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Giambavo Hyundai of Hanover, and our newest dealership, Jack Giambavo Mazda. The Giambavo family of dealerships. Over 30 million in new and pre-owned inventory. With a reputation for quality service after the sale. Giambavo is proud to serve your community. Find out why. The Jack Giambavo family of dealerships. 5 great locations. Online at giambavo.com.
At Capital Blue Cross, there are more yeses and fewer nos. Protecting your health and making it easier so you can spend time on what makes you smile. Helping our communities, your families, your businesses, big and small. We have you covered, going the extra mile. It's what we do. Capital Blue Cross, going the extra mile for you.
We wake up with the sun. We live in a place we're proud to call home. For us, it's knowing that those we help are neighbors, friends, family. As the leader in providing the best orthopedic care for our community, we come together to do our part.
We shine our spotlight here tonight at Columbia High School on our coach. And tonight's coach is Brady Mathias from Columbia High School, the first year being a head coach after many years at Hempfield High School as an assistant coach. And he comes in here tonight with a record of 2-1 so far. Coach Mathias, talk a little bit about being a first-year head coach. Not quite the same as being an assistant, is it?
No, definitely not. Lots of integral parts that you don't necessarily expect or even know about as an assistant. But certainly it's been a great opportunity, and have a great team around me this year. And these guys have done a great job so far. And the nice thing about being here is being in the building is being able to see these guys every day and make sure they're doing what they need to. But a lot of returning players this year has definitely helped us, and hopefully we continue to grow on that. So
you build philosophies over the years as assistant coach. Now you get a chance to put a philosophy to work here as a head coach. Talk a little bit about your philosophy here, offensively and defensively at Columbia.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously at Columbia we're a 2A school, so we don't have the numbers necessarily. So the biggest thing for us is the mentality of next guy up. Whether it's somebody gets hurt, somebody isn't doing their job on the field on a Friday night. We have to be able to adapt and overcome. And I think that's a big thing at a small school especially. Making sure the guys understand, like, hey, do your job, next guy up, and kind of just ensuring that we're all on the same page on a Friday night.
Coach, I used to coach basketball here back in 1987. I remember walking out the door of the gym up there in Elmer Chrysler Gym and looking out and seeing my district, and it was kind of daunting. I thought it's not very big, and yet lots of great community there, lots of great togetherness there, lots of people living together, and they bring that same attitude to the school, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the community around here is great. It really allows us to build a program around it, and they support us, and it's great to have that community support, and we're hoping to continue to build that.
Finally, Coach, your first year coaching, your goals for this year. What are you looking forward to during the course of this season? I know you're 2-1, pretty good start so far, but I know you've got some goals in mind as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our goals are pretty basic. The first thing that I really want to see is my guys mesh, build the team, right? And I know that we've already played 3 games, so we've kind of got to see what that looks like in action. But really, just having a cohesive group of guys who want to go out and play on Friday night. I know that sounds super generic. We weren't sure 100% what we were getting back this year. And so just to kind of have the team that meshes and make sure that we're all on the same page and, make sure the guys are playing as a team together. Ultimately, we'd love to go back to the district playoffs this year after, losing in the semifinals last year. But we're starting small, working our way towards that, and, hopefully we can keep the ball rolling.
Coach Brady Mathias, the new head coach of the Columbia Crimson Tide. They're 2-1, entering into tonight's game with Lancaster Catholic. This is our pregame show here on Fox 43.2.
So a while back, I thought to myself, I'm never going to own a home. I'm going to have to rent forever. I didn't have money for a down payment. I had no credit history, and I just got out of a divorce. But PHFA showed me that home ownership is possible. They offer me a low-interest mortgage and a way to manage the closing costs. To me, this is more than just my home. It's a huge accomplishment and a new chapter in my life, thanks to PHFA.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rentals, parts, and service needs of its customer. Students, begin your professional journey in a high-demand field with Groff Tractor. Contact us today to discover the power of our technician internship programs. Groff Tractor also offers scheduled maintenance along with 24/7 emergency service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
At Capital Blue Cross, there are more yeses and fewer nos. Protecting your health and making it easier so you can spend time on what makes you smile. Helping our communities, your families, your businesses, big and small. We have you covered, going the extra mile. It's what we do. Capital Blue Cross, going the extra mile for you.
If you're looking for a quality used vehicle at a great price,
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford has the best pre-owned inventory, not to mention the best hometown buying experience in all of Harrisburg. With our market-driven pricing, you can be sure you're always getting the best deal. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade. And you know who's got Harrisburg's best deals?
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Hoffman Ford, just what you're looking for. Hoffman has it.
Welcome back to our pregame show here on Fox 43.2. It's our high school sports live game of the week. Columbia and Lancaster Catholic tonight. And our student spotlight for our student athlete shines tonight on Dejan Giles, who's a quarterback here at Columbia, a senior quarterback who had a pretty good guy in front of him last year, but you've stepped up. It's your time right now, Dejan. Great to have you with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Dejan, you talk about this team right now and kind of a first-year head coach in charge here with Coach Matthias, but what have been the differences between this season and last season so far?
This season, our gameplay is mostly built around our defense. They said that we had the least amount of rushing yards allowed, like on the run game. Last year, we was built around offense mostly, but this time we let defense come to us and let the game finish ourselves on the offensive side as well.
Talk about your role as quarterback and as a senior leader on this team.
Well, it's pretty different from last year. I mean, I've never been given such a big role, but when I was told that I'd be quarterback and a leader, I had to take all of that in and get ready for the season, knowing that I would have to step up huge. Robert Footman was a great quarterback as well, and he guided me all throughout the season, and I appreciate him for that. And it's just the rest of the season. Hopes it goes well.
Dejan, what did you learn from Robert from sitting there last year and kind of being his understudy, so to speak, being a part of the team, and yet at the same time there were lessons to be learned? What were some of the most important lessons you learned?
Number one lesson was always to remain confident no matter the situation. And number two, he always said trusting your teammates, trusting your line. They don't ever put their heads down. Even if they're doing bad, always make sure you pick them up and just make sure that they keep going and play hard.
We were talking about sports kind of pulls Columbia together, and there's a sense of community here you don't find everywhere. Up and down the river, we see it in Middletown, Steel High, Columbia, across here at Wrightsville. What is it about Columbia that makes it kind of a special place for you?
It's very special. I mean, I haven't been in Columbia for long. I've been here since my freshman year, and ever since I've been here, football and basketball, I've seen everyone travel from very far just to watch them play. Columbia is a very supportive little town. It's big at the heart, little in the town. So everybody tries their best to support as much as they can, and it's pretty great. I haven't seen much like it.
Looking at this game tonight, you're coming off an Elko loss. You had 2 wins before that. What are you looking for here tonight against Lancaster Catholic?
It's going to be our bounce back game. I'm pretty sure about it. I'm pretty confident in that. Yes, I am. We're just going to tweak some things that we did wrong last week, and we're just going to fix it tonight.
Great being with you tonight. Our student spotlight of the night shining right here on Mr. Giles, all here on Fox 43.2. This is our pregame show. Back with more right after this.
All across Pennsylvania, families are living their lives in their own homes. Not long ago, none of these families believed it possible. And then they discovered there was someone who could help. What was once only a dream is now a reality. Welcome home.
The Jet Giambavo family of dealerships. 9 great franchises in 5 locations. Buick GMC, Hyundai, Genesis of York, Stettler Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Giambavo Hyundai of Hanover, and our newest dealership, Jack Giambavo Mazda. The Giambavo family of dealerships. Over 30 million in new and pre-owned inventory. With a reputation for quality service after the sale, Giambavo is proud to serve your community. Find out why. The Jack Giambavo family of dealerships. 5 great locations. Online at giambavo.com.
At Capital Blue Cross, there are more yeses and fewer nos. Protecting your health and making it easier so you can spend time on what makes you smile. Helping our communities, your families, your businesses, big and small. We have you covered, going the extra mile. It's what we do. Capital Blue Cross, going the extra mile for you.
If you're looking for a quality used vehicle at a great price,
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford has the best pre-owned inventory, not to mention the best hometown buying experience in all of Harrisburg. With our market-driven pricing, you can be sure you're always getting the best deal. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade. And you know who's got Harrisburg's best deals?
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Hoffman Ford, just what you're looking for. Hoffman has it.
High School Sports Live is proud to present Columbia and Lancaster Catholic here tonight. I'm with 2 guys that know football much more than I, and I'm going to lean on them to understand Columbia and Lancaster Catholic. But before we do that, tonight's broadcast is sponsored by the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We're part of an awesome Fox 43 football frenzy. You'll see our report on the news tonight. We will be doing that live from the field here. But right now, let's talk about Lancaster Catholic. Lancaster Catholic's coming in here at 3-0. Struggled the last 2 seasons at 6-13. Todd Mealy. Todd, nobody's better to talk about Lancaster Catholic but you. But in me doing my research on you and your 10-page resume, your doctorate degree and all that, I got tired. I'll be dizzy reading it. It's amazing. And even your brother gave you the best quote. He says, my brother is well organized. Tommy Mealy, the McDevitt athletic director. But you coached football for more than just wins and losses. What was some of your fondest memories coaching high school kids? Penn Manor, Lancaster Catholic. What were some of your most fond memories?
I appreciate you bringing up my brother Tommy. He's a sweet guy. He's really good and one of the best at everything he does. And I think he can attest with what I'm about to say. I just had a really good experience playing football, in the mid-'90s with a really good coaching staff at Bishop McDevitt. And I knew football wasn't going to be my profession, and I wanted to go into education. And I wanted to kind of deliver the same kind of experiences that I had as a student athlete to the student athletes I was going to work with. And one of the things I think that me and my coaching staff could emulate is balance. So we could focus on football when it's time to focus on football, and then we can focus on academics when it's time to focus on academics. In other words, we concentrate on what's important now, which is a win mentality. So we were fortunate in my time as a head coach at 2 high schools, Penn Manor and Lancaster Catholic. We took kids across the world. We played football games in Ireland. We brought professional football players to us, and we held camps with those professional players on our facilities. We talked about academics a lot. We had team goals with a GPA. We accomplished our goals at both schools. So I think apart from, the good times we had on the football field, I think when those kids walked away from our program, they remember those connections and relationships that they built with the coaching staff.
Rob Clark, you are a hardworking history teacher. I know that from experience. I know some kids that have been in your classes. Lower Dolphin High School. Coaching the 2013 district championship team with Joey Julius. Your son went to Georgia Tech Northwestern. Talk about the excitement that you had coaching and mentoring kids at Lower Dolphin High School.
Yeah, that was a special team, the 2013 team. You don't get that every year, but we were very fortunate at Lower Dauphin. Great kids. It is a great school. It's a great community. But, yeah, I do think I kind of agree with a lot what Todd just said. Like, you want to connect with these kids. I, like you, had like some amazing role models as a kid, and they were all coaches. They were major parts of my life. Other than my parents, I think those were the most important people in our lives when we were kids. So, I just tried to emulate them as a coach, and I do think we developed a lot of great relationships with kids. We're still friends with those kids today. Now they're not kids anymore. They're young adults, and they're out doing their own lives, doing their things. But I think they walked away learning a lot of valuable lessons about team building, about making connections, bonds, relationships. And I think they did realize that football and sports in general opens a lot of doors, makes a lot of connections.
It's been not a long time, but it's been since you were coaching at Lancaster Catholic, has had a winning season, 6-13. The new coach is doing a great job in building some experience, and they're 3-0 this year. Todd, talk about Lancaster Catholic and what they need to do to keep this train rolling and possibly win this football game tonight.
Well, Chris Maiorino, I know very well. So he was a coach on my staff for, I'm going to say about 8 to 10 years. And then we were both assistants when we both started out at McCaskey in the early 2000s. So he's done a lot of football. And one of the things that I know that he still does and has always done, which is ensure that he and his coaches are educators. So they spend a lot of time in the off season learning the game. I think what they do, which is very strong, is that they're able to see the personality of the incoming team and then to develop systems around the skill level of their players, as opposed to just coaches know one thing or two things and that's what they're going to do and they're going to force their players to learn that. No, it's about learning where the players shine, where their competency and skill level, where they are, and then they develop systems around that.
They had two impressive wins, Columbia, 34-7, 30 against Eastern York, 30-7 against Hanover. Can Lancaster Catholic stop Columbia's offense when it's rolling?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a two-part answer here. I think defensively they're bigger and they're stronger up front. That's going to be key, particularly because they're not really a big blitzing team. They hardly blitz at all. Now they have seen at least one offense, which was a wing tee, and you're not really blitzing that kind of offense. But in their other games, they didn't do a lot of pressure. But I think their front four can do it. One's a multi-year or 2-year starter, the Dresch kid, on the defensive end, but he is banged up. He has only a certain number of snaps he can play a game, and I don't think many people know that, so I'm kind of breaking that news here. And so he's limited offensively and defensively what he can do. But let me say that on the defensive side, the X factor is their inside linebacker, number 1, Elijah Cunningham. And both sides. And I was going to say he's also the secret that they have on offense. He's one of their best skilled players, and he hardly touches the football. But every time he does, he gets 12 yards of touch. Yeah, right. So,
let's go to the other side of the ball. Rob Clark, Columbia. What do they need to do to get back on the winning track? They had a tough one against Elko last night. A pretty good Elko, 21-12. What do they need to get back to possibly beat this Lancaster Catholic team?
Well, and I'm going to be very honest. I'm a mid-Penn guy, so I took a crash course this week on the LL. I called coach and got an update, watched a little bit of film. But here's what I see. They're running a 3-3 stack. They have two really nice linebackers I like. And the one has the perfect name, Stud Campbell. He's a ball player. He's a stud. So I think that's a big part, how well the linebackers play. I did see the size differential. It was a little bit of a concern for me, but I do think they can hang with it. And then offensively, I think they have some weapons, and I think it all starts with the quarterback.
Gotcha. Yeah. Tonight's Columbia Crimson Tide. It's not Alabama, but it's a pretty cool atmosphere here. Lancaster Catholic. This is going to be a good one. Don't go away. 7 o'clock, this thing's going to start.
Do you want to answer that?
Nah, I'd never with a kid in the car.
It's okay. I'm not here. I'm there.
The Jet Giambavo family of dealerships. 9 great franchises in 5 locations. Buick GMC, Hyundai, Genesis of York, Stettler Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Giambavo Hyundai of Hanover, and our newest dealership, Jack Giambavo Mazda. The Giambavo family of dealerships. Over 30 million in new and pre-owned inventory. With a reputation for quality service after the sale, Giambavo is proud to serve your community. Find out why. The Jack Giambavo family of dealerships. 5 great locations. Online at giambavo.com.
We are waiting for the national anthem here, so we are going to be silent until the national anthem's over, but welcome to the High School Sports Live broadcast of Columbia and Lancaster Catholic Crusaders, but we are going to pause until the national anthem is over. Okay, Lancaster Catholic Crusaders against the Columbia Crimson Tide here tonight. The game is on Fox 43.2 Antenna TV channel in partnership with Fox 43's Football Frenzy. We will be bringing the viewers this game tonight live on High School Sports Live. This broadcast is proudly sponsored by our premier sponsor, the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. I'm with Todd Mealy, former Lancaster Catholic coach. You were 20-3, Todd, and Rod Clark won the 2013 district championship with Lower Dolphin High School. Todd, it's exciting here. I know we're up here pumped up in the press box. What's your early vibes here?
Well, 2 things. One, offense, their quarterback. He's a 3-year starter, got a lot of quality reps when he was a freshman, got a lot of experience. I don't think this game is really on his shoulders. I think a good game play calling by the offensive coordinator, Coach Mike. I think what you're going to see offensively is them try to pound it. Yeah. I think it's something they learned from last season in this game, is they try to match them with skill players in the air. I think you're going to see some trading, tight end trade, even a tackle trade maybe, and I think you're going to try to power it.
Well, and Todd, you have an advantage. This is a lot of your guys. These guys coached under you, Coach Chris. How do you pronounce that name, by the way? That's a tough one.
Yeah, Chris Maiorino.
Maiorino, yeah. And Lancaster Catholic will receive Columbia Crimson Tide. It's not Alabama, folks, but I'll tell you what, if you were at this game tonight, yeah, you would feel pretty good about this being like a high school version of that. Rob Clark, pregame thoughts. What are you thinking for Columbia here?
Well, I'll tell you, I took a look at Lancaster Catholic during warm-ups, and I am a little worried about their athleticism, but I do think if Coach's game plan goes as called and he can throw the ball around with Tukey Giles, we'll see what happens here, but I'm excited to see what happens.
Nice coverage on the kickoff. Tell you what, number 18, Tukey Giles does it all. Offense,
well,
defense. He just kicked off, folks.
Lancaster Catholic, and their kick return, they run a wedge wherever the ball's kicked, and I think the wedge left before the returner got close enough for them to be effective blocking. Columbia did a nice job there. Now, let's see if Catholic comes out here and tries to pound the ball here right at their defense.
Well, they're starting out on the 25. Lancaster Catholic comes out. Boy, they got some big boys up front there. You were not lying,
And two tight end, 3 backs in the backfield. Right.
Looks like Columbia.
I think you're right, Todd. I think it's going to be a power scheme that they're running against them.
Well, Columbia has 3 defensive linemen, and it seems like they're head up on the. Oh, they're going no huddle.
Yes, they are. Back in a power eye.
Yeah, they're head up on the center.
Cunningham has 4 yards on the carry.
There's power.
Okay.
That's a nice job.
Maybe a half a yard there. Cunningham, interestingly enough, got 5 yards on the first 2 carries, but he's averaging 11.3 yards a carry, 193 yards in his first couple games.
Yeah, now they just made a personnel change. They brought 3 off, brought 3 on. So this will be a new look.
Might go to the passing game here. It's going to be 3rd down and 6.5, 7.
You got trips into the boundary, so they may go one-on-one up top. To Javon Parker, who's their guy, there's play action. I think there's a crossing route.
Oh, right on the money there. A little tough catch there, but it looks like it's going to bring up a 4th down. The punting unit coming on for the Lancaster Catholic Crusaders. Good defensive stand by Columbia. Coach Rob, your team there came out ready to rock.
Yeah, it looked like they could handle the size up front there, but I still am a little bit worried if they can get caught, because, again, they are going to bring some pressure, and sometimes there'll be a void. If they get caught, it might be for a long one.
No, they
got
just
one guy back deep.
They just didn't execute there. The ball was a little bit thrown behind the receiver. It could have been caught.
That's going to get a Lancaster Catholic roll down to the 37.5, looks like about 37-yard line. We're going to take over. Columbia will take over from the 30. Let's looking closer to the 38 line.
Really good, especially dress. Catholic starts a freshman right down here at the Lancaster Catholic sideline, Brandon Way. He's had a good season so far, a lot of pass breakups, but this is his first big test. We'll see how he does, number 2.
Mishandled snap.
And there's Dresch.
Yeah, Giles bobbles the snap. That's going to be 5-6. That's a 5-6 yard loss. It's going to be back to the 26-yard line. Actually, forward progress. They're going to put that at the, the 31-yard line. But man, tough first play for Giles.
When you're way back from the sticks, that makes it really tough. You're really making it more challenging for yourself right from the get-go. See if they can get out from underneath it.
Hey, they're live on TV, guys. It's pregame jizzers. We got to take a little responsibility for this. We're putting a little pressure on the kids here tonight.
So Lancaster Catholics, they're in a 4-3. Looks like they're man. You might see them switch if there's crossing routes. Okay, they run the ball here in 2nd and long.
Little off tackle, little counter.
So Catholic, they've traditionally run a lot of cover 2 to 2-by-2 formations. But I don't know if they like that against this Columbia offense. So I think what you're going to see is them lock on and play man. But I do know that their defensive coordinator works a little bit of switching. So it's like man switch, much like playing basketball where you switch players.
We're looking at a 3rd and 16, 3rd and 17. What do we do here, guys?
I'm looking to get the ball to Damo Diaz-Ellis, our best receiver, number 21.
Yeah, he's 8 catches for 265 yards. That's 33 yards a catch this year.
He's something special. I think that's who I'd probably go after early.
So you got single coverage on top of the back swing.
We'll go with the screen.
Yeah, it's Cunningham. That's their middle linebacker, Cunningham.
Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad. They got some of those yards back. They can punt it out of there. It's not a bad strategy.
And that'll bring up a 4th and 8, better field position.
A lot more realistic. Yeah, that actually wasn't a bad strategy.
It's almost like both teams, guys, came out. Like kind of like a boxing match. Maybe not going with their best play yet. Little feely run plays.
Yep.
But I think we might hopefully see in the second possession a little bit of airing it out, a little bit of opening things up.
Yeah, sizing each other up a little bit. I agree. Now the quarterback, Tukey, is the punter, so keep an eye. You never know.
Punter, kicker.
Yeah, he does it all.
I think he's a swim coach, too, here at Columbia.
Bad snap. Might get a good bounce here.
That takes a Columbia roll the whole way down to the 21-yard line.
I don't think they want to kick the Parker anyway, so that's a good punt.
Absolutely.
Well,
keep it away out of that kid's hands.
And how about that? You got your best athlete punting and kicking, but on the punting side, and I've seen this when schools have a great athlete, you could always run the guy. You could always maybe do a fake punt, get your best athlete.
That's certainly a threat. You see it a lot at schools this size. Their best athlete's a quarterback, but he's also handling all the kicking duties. All right, so you have two tight ends set here. So they're twins up top, a tight end wing here. This is an H-back here. This is still a run set for Catholic. Yep. So that's actually a replay, and
that's good for 8 yards for Javon Parker. Wow, he had some nice moves there.
Yeah, he cut that the whole way back. That was supposed to be what you call power read. So Cranford was reading the end.
It's actually going to be a 2nd and 1, actually.
So same formation. Twins up top, tight end wing down here. There's your trade. Try to get the edge there.
Good stick.
It's going to be close. That's going to be...
it all depends on the spot.
Depends on the spot.
I think they're saying 3rd.
Looks like 3rd and a half yard. Couple inches. Yeah, there we go.
So that's interesting. They 3rd and inches. They went one back set here. They took one of their tight ends out. Split zone.
Yeah.
That's a good play call.
Yeah, 23 Stud Campbell comes over and makes the tackle there. Wanted to watch him. I love that name. Perfect name for a linebacker.
Out to the 35. That's going to be a 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line for Lancaster Catholic Crusaders. Now it's starting to open up. Now we're starting to see some first downs.
Yeah, and Columbia just ran 2 on and took 2 off, so they're personnel in Catholic too. Come back up top through the corner.
Nice catch.
I'll tell you what, Will Cranford.
Yeah.
Going to his left. Will Cranford, 403 yards passing this year. That's the 2nd time this game he went to his left and made a throw. That one was successful.
Yeah, it's certainly tough to do, sprint out and throw to your left when you're a right-hander. But I tell you what, Gonzalez and Parker as a combination, that duo that's out there, that's tough to defend.
That's a 30-yard gain for Lancaster Catholic.
Toss right. Oh, here we got a fumble. Yeah, smart move by the back there.
Lost 12 yards on that one. It's going to be a 2nd and 22 for Lancaster Catholic. Gave back 12 of those 30 right there.
Right. Now, you know what I'd love to see? This isn't the play for it, but if they put those 2 tight ends back in and do that trade like they did, where they traded both tight ends, and you kind of overload the defense, toss it. Last time they did that and they ran power, but I think they have the edge. You're going to see that later in this game. Look how wide those defensive ends are.
Tell you what, the offensive coordinator for Catholic sees a gap.
Well,
he's been picking some good
plays
here.
Again, good play call. You're surprised it doesn't go for bigger, considering they only have 1 defensive lineman with his hand down and 2 stand-up ends that are wide. That was counter tray, but they ran the counter, kick out with the lineman, and they wrapped the fullback. But I tell you what, Columbia's defense was quick there, which is why it didn't go for bigger. So Dress, who has his hand casted, is down here split by himself. I'm not sure if he's that big of a threat.
got a third.
We'll see if he sprints up top.
3rd and 18.
He did throw it to Dresch.
There's a interference call.
He did catch the ball, but we'll see if he's in bounds. No.
Yeah, he was out and he came back in.
Let's see what the referees decide here.
Tell you what, the cast doesn't get in the way, does it?
No, he did a nice job. He's a nice sized kid.
Yeah.
Great catch by Ed Dresch, senior, 6'4" tight end. That's a big boy.
Yeah, so Dresch has started for a couple years. He is limited on the number of plays he can go in for. So they have a coach who keeps track of his play count.
Okay, what do we got here?
Pass interference.
Pass interference. Well, in high school, that's, you know, I'm thinking NFL. I'm looking for the spot of the foul there. That's 15 yards.
And now Dresch has a younger brother who's a sophomore, who's a linebacker on their defense. They think he is going to be the next big player out of here. His name is Zach
That makes it a
Dresch.
3rd and 3. Guys, a lot of people think that's automatic first down, but that's not.
No, not at this level.
Okay, good stick.
This is going to be right on the line. Let's see what the ref wrote the spot. Right there, they're calling that a 4th down in inches. This is 4-down territory, boys.
Oh, well, certainly. You don't want to punt it here, so you go for it. They don't have – their kicker's been inconsistent, so they're not going to kick a field goal here.
Number 70, Amir Williams comes in. That must be the
heavy set. Yeah.
That must be the enforcer here.
Well, this is the personnel they started with because they put number 1 in, Elijah Cunningham, and Dresch is in. They brought 70 in.
Cunningham's doing it from both sides of the ball. He's one of the leader in tackles for Catholic and rushing yards.
Oh, they moved.
I think they moved early. Yeah,
They got away with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
No flags.
That's a 4th down. That's turned it into a 1st down for Catholic.
So that's their play right now. Split zone. This is about the 3rd or 4th time they've run it for positive yards.
You can see Catholic catching an offensive rhythm here.
Yeah.
You know, you can see him catching a rhythm. Let's see what Columbia does.
They may come right back and do
Yeah,
it.
they're
They're
trying to
no
get
huddle right
tempo.
on the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, same play.
It is. Yep, exact same play.
And do it if they're going to play those ends that wide. And you know, to try to defend a big play offense like Columbia, you know, you're using a lot of time on the clock and you shorten the game. Smart move.
2nd down and 5.
Again.
That one's a little, well, he started out going off guard. Now he went to tackle. That right side, the offensive coordinators must be seeing something defensively there. As coaches, you guys are coaches, Rob, Todd, what's that like? What's that like up in the skybox when they're in your ear? Do those guys dictate the plays up there to you guys? Do they see what's on the field? Talk about that for our viewers.
Yeah, I'll be happy to go first, Coach, if you don't mind. You know, on paper, split zone looks really good because Columbia's playing with 3 down linemen, 2 stand-up ends that are wide. It seems like you can wash the defensive line into the linebackers and kick out that stand-up defensive end, and you'd have something big.
There's that trade again.
They're trading 2 here. Let's see if they get the perimeter or if they run power again.
Power.
Yeah.
But
there
he did.
it is. There it is.
He
Yeah.
bounced it.
There it is.
He bounced it. Yeah. Really, what you said. You saw it. I think they saw it up top too, and they set it up, and then he bounced it. Now again, I don't know if that was predetermined or if he just read that really well, but that was pretty sweet.
Touchdown for Lancaster Catholic Crusaders. First one on the board. Got a field goal coming up here in a second.
Now it looks like they're going for 2. Looks like they're keeping. Yeah, they're going for 2.
Yeah, right now I think Columbia's leading tackler is one of their cornerbacks. That's never a good sign. When you're third-level players, your leading tackler.
So their kickers missed a couple extra points this year. So this is becoming a norm for Catholic, especially early in the game when they score in the first quarter. He's tapping his helmet. He may fade him up top here. Yeah, he just checked with the wide. The wide receiver didn't see it.
He must have missed it.
He didn't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, miscommunication.
Well, 6-0 Lancaster Catholic. We're going to go to break. What a game we have here at Columbia.
If you're looking for a quality used vehicle at a great price,
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford has the best pre-owned inventory, not to mention the best hometown buying experience in all of Harrisburg. With our market-driven pricing, you can be sure you're always getting the best deal. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade. And you know who's got Harrisburg's best deals.
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Hoffman Ford, just what you're looking for. Hoffman has
Okay, we're back here at Columbia. Score is 6-0, Lancaster Catholic. Columbia's getting ready to receive the kickoff. Let's see what they can do with their possession. But guys, what a settled down possession, just like we talked about. Todd, Lancaster Catholic, what did they do in that possession that was different than the first possession? Why they were successful?
Well, so their game plan was to run the ball with 2 tight ends. They were 3 and out their first set. Jitters might have something to do with that. Being unfamiliar with how Columbia was going to line up also. It's a stacked defense, but they're not quite used to the way Columbia runs that defense. And so they came back out and they kept with the plan, and they picked up several first downs. There's a flag on the play.
Down.
Yeah.
Oh, another one on the sideline. I think we got a late hit.
Yeah. And they took a lot of minutes off the scoreboard there, and I like that approach, shortening this game, because last year was a shootout.
Well, and it's Columbia's chance now, Rob, a chance for Columbia to say, okay, they can respond and say, okay, it's time to settle down. Let's see if they can catch a rhythm under Giles. By the way, it's not Giles, it's Giles. Yeah. I got all my relatives and everybody at home correcting me on pronunciations, all the speech majors. And I'd like to say hi to our good friend Gary Sutton sitting at home, lead announcer, who stuck me in this position. Thank you, Gary. But what an opening! What a pregame interview with Coach Brady Mathias and Giles. Gary did a tremendous job on our pregame show interviews earlier this week. It was great. Thank you for that, Gary.
Yeah, Gary, get healthy. We miss you, buddy. Yeah, I think right now what Columbia needs to do is just kind of get some momentum back. They kind of lost it there. So now and again, with their athleticism and with quarterback Giles, let's see what he does. I'm excited to see him throw the ball.
So there are 2 penalties. I missed what the officials called here. Here's one of the things that I want to see from Columbia is that they haven't really put together a sustained drive this season in 3 games. They've scored points, but their points have come on big plays.
Yeah.
And again, Lancaster Catholic is playing a freshman corner down near us at the Lancaster Catholic sideline. That's something to keep an eye on. Another bad snap on first down.
I don't think he was expecting it.
And he fumbled.
And it came out.
And that is going to be, it looks like, Lancaster Catholic's
Lancaster
ball. It's official.
Yeah.
They will get the ball on the 25-yard line, short field.
Yeah, and the first one there was Dresch. Columbia's going to have problems with him.
Again, momentum. Yeah, momentum. High school football, all about momentum. They already had it, and now it's even going to be stronger.
Coach Clock, I'm looking at formations Columbia's run this year. Doubles, 3x1, twins, Seminole bunch. Only one of those formations is with a tight end. So it looks like they may have to get a tight end if they want to block this defensive end here. They're going to have trouble with him.
I think we're going to have to pause on Columbia showing us they got a rhythm on offense.
Well, Columbia just changed their defense. They have a now 4-man front here.
Okay.
Yeah, and did you notice Lancaster Catholic had a tackle lined up at tight end at times, number 71. So they do have not necessarily an unbalanced, but they are bringing in an actual lineman for that position.
Last couple Lancaster Catholic plays, Elijah Cunningham's going on the left side. They worked that right side. Now they kind of lulled Columbia to sleep. Now they're hitting that left side and they're getting some success there. That was a nice 3-4 yard pickup.
Sure. We'll see. We're in a 4-4 here. Columbia is.
Yeah, they are. Oh,
so there's a bounce. So they're running power solo here. So they're running power blocking. They pull the backside guard, lead up on the play side linebacker. No kick out because they're going with one tight end and 3 wide receiver set here. It's working.
Third down and 1 yard to go. Maybe a little less.
So Catholic's head coach Chris Maiorino is also the offensive line coach, and you see how well they're coached. The line saw the adjustment that Columbia made, and they're moving the ball.
That's going to be enough for a first down. We are on the 14-yard line, moving the chains here.
Well, and if something works, they are not afraid to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. That's high school football. Do what the kids are good at. Find a ritual and do it.
Todd, talk about the complexity of Lancaster Catholic's offense. These coaches are giving these kids a lot to think about.
Yeah, well, prior to this game, they didn't do what they're showing us here. They were a lot of, spread the field from sideline to sideline and vertically. And they like to get Javon Parker, number 4, open in space, bubbles, quick routes, hitches, and then he could make moves on defenders. You're not seeing that at all here. You're seeing Coach Mike, the offensive coordinator, taking his time because, again, everyone was here last year, And these two teams scored over 100 points collectively, and that's not the kind of game Catholic wanted to get into tonight.
And it brings up a second and about 6, 7.
We have to get our stat guy on the time of possession so far here in the first quarter because Columbia hasn't had the ball much.
Yeah, Ray McCarty with us here tonight doing stats. First drive for Catholic was 11 plays, 2 passing, 9 runs, 79-yard drive. This will be a 25-yard drive if they can put it in the end zone again.
So they took out the lineman. They brought in the extra lineman, Amir Williams. He's been committed to this program for 4 years. And they brought in 2 tight ends here. So you're probably get that tight end wing set. Now they traded out of this last time they scored. Now they look confused. But this is the set they were in a series ago. They traded. They ran power up top to the Columbia. There it is.
Okay, let's see if he bounces outside or he goes inside again, Todd.
Yeah, new running back this time, though. This is actually their starter.
Oh, there's your toss. You called it.
Yeah.
Hey, good
speed.
pursuit. That's a great angle. Well done by Columbia's defense.
Todd, I was wondering why you were so excited to accept this invitation to be a color commentator. And now I know why. you seem to be pretty in tune with this Lancaster Catholic Ball Club.
Well, I got out of coaching 3 years ago, and I spent 2 years not watching football at all. I kind of separated myself. This year I've kind of recommitted to watching.
Well, it's 3rd and 5 yards to go. Lancaster Catholic on the left side of the field here. They're looking to put another one in the end zone here. I don't think they want to settle for a field goal.
Yeah, but they're putting Parker and Gonzalez together. Now it's up at the boundary. Okay, they ran power read.
It's a read, yeah.
Power read. It's a good play to run inside.
Okay, what do they do here,
the 10.
guys? This is 4th down and 5.
Again, because of the inconsistency with the kicking, I think they're going. I don't think they hesitate.
The kicker's not running out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their special teams coordinator is Brandon Way, and I was watching him on that 3rd down. There was no, PAT field goal team ready.
Run out.
Yep.
But he wasn't getting that team ready. So.
Well, they're going to take a break, and we here at High School Sports Live are going to take a break. We will be back after a few messages from our sponsor.
Thank you.
If you're looking for a quality used vehicle at a great price,
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford has the best pre-owned inventory, not to mention the best hometown buying experience in all of Harrisburg. With our market-driven pricing, you can be sure you're always getting the best deal. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade. And you know who's got Harrisburg's best deals.
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Hoffman Ford, just what you're looking for. Hoffman has it.
Okay, we are back here at the Columbia Crimson Tide Stadium here, and Lancaster Catholic is going for it here, 4th, and I think we're on the, well, we'll find out in a second what yard line they're placing that on, but they have at least 4 to 5 more yards for a first down, but they're going to go for it. We're talking about the kicking game, the lack of confidence in the kicking game, Coach Clock. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, in high school football, if you have a quality kicker, that really allows you as a coach to relax a little bit. And not just kicking extra points and field goals, but kicking off. If you have that kicker that can kick it in the end zone every time, that really changes things. A quality punter, that changes things. So, it's concerning if you don't have somebody. But hopefully, maybe by later in the season, they can get somebody developed.
I'll tell you what, time's going to tell how this is going to fare on the Columbia defense. But the time of possession for Lancaster Catholic has been 10 minutes, 54 seconds. Columbia has only had the ball for 1:06. Fairness to Columbia, they turned it over on downs, but it's going to be interesting to see if Columbia has to stay on the field. Is that going to just wear on it? Is it going to be tough?
Well, here's the thing. At this level, if you look at Columbia's sideline, they're playing anyway.
Yeah.
So I think Columbia's playing their most physical team. That's going to be the difference. It's not how many minutes they're playing. It's the physical nature of this game.
Hey, different look here. They're going trips open. They're going to spread them out a little bit. So maybe it's more of what you saw the first few weeks of the season, just to see maybe how Columbia adjusts to it, too.
Yeah. You have Dresch by himself up top. Last time it was
that's right.
They faded him up.
Yeah.
Down here, you have the weapons, Javon Parker and Gonzalez here is number 2 and number 3 in the trips formation.
Yeah, I don't see anyone in Columbia's defensive backfield that is the size of that receiver. So we might just see a jump ball here.
Yeah. I mean, you have one-on-one up top. It looks like they're zoned despite where the ball is on the field. The ball's sitting there at the 7-8 yard line. There's a sprint out to
going
the
away
left.
from him. Oh, good pressure.
That's good, but you know what? That is on Will. I'm kind of surprised he's got so much experience that he didn't cut it up.
Josh Burt's in on the breakup. Boy, put pressure on the quarterback. Will Cranford was comfortable going left, but, man, not with Josh Burt's in his face.
So they have the stand-up ends, which are wide, which makes it tough. They wanted to reach him and get the quarterback on the edge, but they couldn't. And that's fine, but the quarterback has to see to cut it up now, and he could actually perhaps even run it if he did that.
All right, so Columbia will retain possession here, and let's see if we can get something going. Okay, hopefully they don't shoot themselves in the foot. Again, obviously, so close to their own goal line, going to be a little bit careful, maybe a little more conservative.
Yeah, if you're a fan at the game here, you're kind of rooting for, hey, I'd like to see Columbia's offense, see what they're up to.
Right, give them a chance to have a little bit of success.
So they're sitting in twins here, which has been their run set this year. And there's where they put a tight end in. Okay,
it's going to be a gain of 2. That'll be 2nd and 8. Giles doing a pretty good job. First-year quarterback after losing the big quarterback from last year. Man, Bookman, wow, that's a tough quarterback.
And he's had a great season so far. He's thrown 7 touchdown passes, only 1 interception, thrown for a lot of yards. So the kid is explosive.
78 on the tackle there for Catholic.
Yeah, 78. We don't have him on our roster. So he must.
Okay, here we go.
Forward progress is going to bring it up down to, that's going to be a 3rd and maybe a short 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach Dress, the sophomore, on the tackle along with Elijah Cunningham.
I like the call, a nice, safe pass. Give Giles a little bit of confidence. Let him get back into his groove. Let's see what they do here on 3rd down.
Number 70, Eric Salape, a junior from Catholic on that previous tackle.
Columbia spends a lot of time in this formation, 2x2 or doubles, and it's almost 50-50 run pass out of this. Ran all hitches.
Oh, he's deflected, but still caught.
And he just got it.
Yeah, he did get the first.
I tell you what,
a little bit of luck there, a little bit of luck. That was Aiden Miller, the tight end. Now,
he almost ran backwards to not get the first down. You always want to go forward, folks. Know where the pylon is, or know where the marker is.
If that wasn't deflected, it wouldn't have been complete.
I think you're correct. Yes.
All right, so we're on the 19-yard line. That's progress, guys.
That is.
Right.
Give him a little bit of success, a little bit of confidence.
I want to see Giles get off and run. What do you guys? He's 6'4" quarterback, 6'3" quarterback. I want to see him get off and running a little here.
So 3x1 week. Last time they threw out, they swung the back and they threw it to him.
Got a screen.
Yep.
Good way to step
up. Javon Parker right there.
Very well done.
Yeah.
Very well defended.
Let's talk about the defense for Catholic. To talk about what makes them so good, Todd.
Well, it starts with their defensive front. So they have size up front, and they have 2 tall and really physical defensive ends. And I'm telling you, number 1, Elijah Gonzalez, he's an X factor on both sides of the ball. And the Catholic coaches are really high on number 20, the young Dresch kid, and what his potential is here in the future. So with this motion here, we'll see how the defense adjusts to this. So they were in man, and they checked to a zone when Columbia got out of 2x2 and motioned to 3x1. They checked to a zone coverage. And I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's interesting to see what they're doing with the freshman corner. They keep him on the Catholic sideline. So when Columbia was going in the other direction, he was at the Catholic sideline. So you think he would switch to the other side of the field with the change of the quarter? But no, so they keep him on the sideline so they can talk to him.
2nd and 16 for Columbia Crimson Tide. There's an illegal procedure penalty there.
Again, they're already having trouble offensively, and again, shooting yourself in the foot, 5 more yards, it really does make it challenging. But let's see, maybe a big play here, get him over the hump.
So Catholic's sitting in a 4-3.
I don't know if they were ever set. They weren't. Yeah. Columbia never got set. Yeah, this is frustrating. The kids are down on themselves.
These are the kind of penalties you see in the scrimmage. Maybe week 1, maybe week 2, but by week 4 you like to clean this stuff up.
Yeah. Well, I think part of this is, though, that this is the best defensive front that they've seen this year. And they haven't had much luck in the first quarter, and that could be in their heads.
Add in the rivalry factor. Kids sometimes play out of their heads. They're not doing what they would normally do when it's a rival game.
Sure. All right, now we got a second down and about 21 here.
Second down and another zip code.
Trips down to us. Looks like they're man-free.
Okay, they got one-on-one. He's going after it.
Yep.
He adjusted. Well done.
Yeah, so Lancaster Catholic went man-free there, and they picked on the receiver up top.
Was that Damo?
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Very nice. That's Diaz Ellis. That's his number one receiver.
Yes.
That kid, he's averaging like 33 yards a catch. He's something. They definitely have a connection, those two.
Well, 35-yard line, 1st and 10, Columbia Crimson Tide. Rooting for a good game here, folks. Rooting for a good game. And I think we're getting it right now.
Catholic secondary coaches, Sean Titus and Brandon Way, they are concerned about Damo heading into this game.
Yeah, he's special. There's another bad snap.
Another fumble snap. They lost content.
Okay.
Oh,
here we go.
He can go.
What about the tackle by number 2 for Lancaster Catholic, Brandon Way?
That's Damari Sims on the reception. And he showed some athleticism there. Let's face it, the play broke down, and he got after it.
Brandon Way's a freshman, guys. How many freshmen? Wow. Well, actually, in the South Central Pennsylvania area this year, Mid-Penn, Rob, we're seeing a lot of freshmen standing out this year.
Yeah, and actually, I observed that just so far this season. Years ago, you just didn't see that very often, unless it was a really special kid. I mean, you are starting to see it a little bit.
We can talk about it, but you got Elias Koch from Harrisburg. You got the Strom kid from Lower Dolphin. We can go on and on. There's a lot of kids playing. The quarterback, Evans, for Susquehanna Township's a freshman.
Oh, that was a nice move. He tried to do a little touch pass there.
Yep.
It didn't work out, but at least he didn't get sacked. He prevented the sack with his feet.
Yeah, now they're having a lot of trouble with the defensive ends. They're taking care of the 2 interior guys. They're bigger. They can't be moved running the ball, but the ends. But if you've noticed that, their best defensive lineman, arguably, Ed Dresch, is not in the game. That's part of his injury protocol.
I do like how Tukey Giles stepped up there, and with his feet, he prevented that sack. So, he showed something there, and then that touch, it's a shame that didn't come through, but I tell you what, that was pretty impressive. Going to his left, too.
Ball's on the 29-yard line. Columbia driving. That defensive stand was huge, guys, for Columbia. Huge.
Yes.
That could have been a 2-score game.
Here we go. Okay.
The question is, did the right side move for Columbia?
Calling on the defense.
Oh, okay.
All right, so again, that whole momentum factor. Now, Columbia's got a little bit of that momentum. Lancaster Catholic making some mistakes.
And that's Kellen Murphy, a senior who came in for Dresch, that jumped off sides there. So he's, coach, he's not watching the ball, he's listening to the count.
Exactly, yep. Yeah, we wish they could wear earplugs.
Have you guys noticed when these teams do a lot of this motion and stuff, it throws the defenders off. They get all anxious.
Yeah. Now, this has been 100% run throughout the year.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, he didn't have a chance there.
Yeah.
Well, they did not have enough to block that.
That was a broken play.
Yeah.
But heading into this game, that twins open set with 2 backs in the backfield, that has been 100% run for Columbia.
Okay.
Giles is a little frustrated there, but I got to give Giles a little credit here. A lot of young guys would have panicked and tried to throw it and fumble it. He just took it. He just took it and said, okay, I got to take the good medicine here rather than make this worse than it is.
Yeah.
So, but it does bring up a big 3rd down and 22, 23 yards.
Yeah, sometimes you got to decide to live for another day. So take the sack, all right, and now they're in the situation. And again, it's only 6-0. We got time.
We have a timeout on the field. We're going to take a break. We're here 6-0 Lancaster Catholic, but Columbia is driving.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rentals, parts, and service needs of its customer. Students, begin your professional journey in a high-demand field with Groff Tractor. Contact us today to discover the power of our technician internship programs. Groff Tractor also offers scheduled maintenance along with 24/7 emergency service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
We're back here. Columbia Crimson Tide. It's a 3rd and 15. They're driving, hopefully looking to score here in the second quarter.
They have the freshman Brandon Way one-on-one down at the bottom. That looks like a broken play.
Yeah, I'm not sure
no
if
one was running
a screening that or not.
Yeah, all the receivers were blocking, and the back swung, but he didn't throw it, and it was his only option.
Yeah.
Well, Columbia has minus 30 yards rushing, but they have some big plays passing the football. But minus 30 yards rushing, not establishing a ground game at all here.
They just lost more yards. Well, a lot of that's the sacks. You know?
Yep. It's 4th and 20.
They're going for it.
They're going for it. Well, actually, when you got the quarterback as your punter, I've seen this before, guys. We've seen this where looks like a pooch punt, they call it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And which they may do that. With the ball at the 35, which is, the average of where an offense starts.
We got a flag in the backfield. Did complete it.
That might not be good for a first down, but that might almost be as good as a punt in high school football. Got a penalty in the backfield. Holding, that you might see that declined here since it's a turnover on downs. Yeah, they won't push him back. What do you guys think?
I think he declined it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it looks like it'll be Lancaster Catholic's football. It looks like we have 6 minutes, 52 seconds to go. It's still Lancaster Catholic 6-0. Guys, this has become a pretty. We're a quarter and a half in, and it's 6-0. This is a good ball game.
Well, good for Columbia, but fortunate for Columbia because right now Catholic is the better of the two teams.
Hey, our referees for tonight are Dave Anderson, Jeff Pierce, Kenneth Brayboy, Cody Deal, and Christopher Bilger. Sorry, guys, we almost forgot about you out there.
So Columbia is sticking in that four-man front defense. So they're 4-4, cover 3. And Catholic comes out in their tight end wing. They're split zone. Ooh.
Here we got flags down. I don't see the signal though.
Well, we have kids from Lancaster Catholic pointing that it's their fault. We have kids from Columbia saying it's their fault.
Well, of course that's what they're supposed to do.
It's almost like it's almost like the commercial,
Coach, that's something we coached up.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Illegal participation. I believe that was the call, wasn't it? I think Columbia might have had too many players on the field.
Well, number 7 just left for Columbia.
Well, so that's interesting because the ball was
Pacho just left.
Yep, Pacho, yep.
He's had a ton of tackles, unfortunately, from his cornerback's position, so that's not a good sign.
All right, so Catholic's running the same play, split zone.
Split zone.
I wonder if he would have had more yards if he would have cut it back.
It's going to be 2nd and 1 here. Almost a first down, not quite.
I think that was Dale Goodman on the tackle.
Actually, I'm sorry, Rob, that is a first down. They are pushing the chains forward. 1st and 10, the Lancaster Catholic Crusaders with 6 minutes, 25 seconds and counting.
So we're not in coach's head, but there's 6.5 left in the half. I wouldn't be surprised if they stay in the set as long as they're getting 5 yards a pop.
He pulled it.
Will ran at that time.
Okay, that was number 11, Damari Sims, who had that nice catch a little earlier on the tackle.
A couple scores out there. Cumberland Valley up 17-0 on CD East. Shippensburg 6-0 over Northern. And keep them coming, guys. I got a bunch of people texting me here.
So the point I was trying to make here, Coach Clock, is they may try to take this clock down, as close to, halftime as possible.
That makes perfect sense, especially with the possibility of that explosive offense, so they don't get hit with a big, long pass. They trade it again. Got numbers on this side. They run right at it.
Yeah, and that's a new running back. For the first time, they're playing Christian Fields.
Nice tackle by Columbia's 57, Chris Sabino.
Yeah, that's Chris Sabino on the tackle. Well done. Scraped right down the line.
He's a workhorse.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I like his shoulders. He stays square to the line of scrimmage. All right, he doesn't over-penetrate. And he works basically at the heels of the offensive lineman.
Now, this is an interesting lineup that Lancaster Catholic has in. He has Fields and Cunningham in together. along with Dresch and Parker.
Number 12 is leaving the field. I'm not sure. Yeah, they need somebody in for him. Okay, I don't know if maybe that was an official made him leave the field for maybe his helmet came off or something. We missed that.
So they put Cunningham at fullback. They may give it to him on a dive.
Here we go, old school fullback.
Yeah, there it is.
Ah, they did.
Yeah, trap.
It was nice trap, actually well blocked.
Well, Cunningham has 17 carries coming in this game. Listen, for 193 yards. That's 11.3 yards a carry. That's a nice day at the office, guys.
Yeah, that was Goodman again on the tackle. That kid's making some serious tackles. Okay, he's coming from a defensive end position.
Yeah, I tried to talk Cunningham up in our pregame. Not many people have thought about him because he's been overshadowed, by Terrell Crawley, who's the starter.
Fullback again, being the lead blocker this time. Yeah. I love it.
Right. Well, he's a middle linebacker, Coach. So.
It's like Sabino on another tackle, number 57 for Columbia.
So here's 3rd and long. Okay, they're making a personnel change. They're bringing number 11 into the game, Josh Acker, and they're taking Cunningham out. This would be interesting. I wonder if they try to isolate Javon Parker here, who's their big playmaker. Well, and they are. They're putting him down there by himself.
Well, Javon's 11 catches for 200 yards. It's averaging. That's 20 yards a catch.
Yeah.
Well, keep it on the ground.
That's right.
Wow. That's it.
So they're thinking about they have 2 downs there. So here they go on 4th down. A lot of his yardage, 20 yards a catch, a lot of them have been simple bubble swings to him.
3rd and 3. Rob, how important is it for Columbia to hold and not let them score before half with 4 minutes to go?
Yeah, this is huge. Try to get that ball back. Oh, big stuff.
Yeah.
Nice hit. Who's the initial guy there? Having trouble seeing the number here.
Have you guys noticed Coach Mathias' staff has done a good job whenever it seems like Lancaster Catholic's on a roll, all of a sudden they send the blitz, or they're throwing them off balance just enough to keep them from scoring.
Yeah, well, that was Steve Rivas on the tackle there. They've run split zone a ton already in this first half. So as a coach of the Columbia side, you got to say, how many times do you have to see that play before you stop it?
Well, now it's a 4th and 7. What do they do here, guys? We know they're not kicking a field goal.
Well, a lot of time. They're taking a lot of time here. We may get a timeout
here. I think
here.
we might get a timeout here.
There it is.
Yeah, I think it was intentional. He wanted to get things organized.
Yeah, they also had too many in the huddle. So
well, they're gonna take a timeout, and we're gonna take a brief break. We're here at High School Sports Live. We'll be back after this message.
At Capital Blue Cross, there are more yeses and fewer nos. Protecting your health and making it easier so you can spend time on what makes you smile. Helping our communities, your families, your businesses, big and small. We have you covered, going the extra mile. It's what we do. Capital Blue Cross, going the extra mile for you.
It says right here.
Okay, we are back here at Columbia Crimson Tide. Hey, guys, we're taking window panels out here.
They're punting.
They're punting?
Yeah. You see their long snapper. Now, this is only, I think, the 4th time they've punted all year. The quarterback, Will Cranford's a snapper. And that's one of the big reasons why they don't like the punt. They've had trouble with the long snapper.
Columbia has no one back deep.
Okay, it's going to be a turnover. Not a turnover, but it's going to be a switch of possessions here. Columbia is going to get a chance here with 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Guys, possibly, missed that field goal. They put it in the end zone.
Can you believe
they kick a field goal? It could be a 7-6 halftime. Let's see.
It's still 6-0.
6-0.
All right, so field position-wise, Columbia, not a great place, but at least they stopped them from scoring, and hopefully they can get it to halftime here, eat these 3 minutes off the clock, or who knows, maybe put a drive together.
You don't want to turn it over.
Definitely don't want to. And that's the problem with relying on the pass so much. That's always a possibility, although he has only thrown 1 interception all year.
So here's one thing I'm trying to figure out with Catholic's D. Like I mentioned, they're putting a freshman, Brandon Way, to their sideline all the time. But Columbia really hasn't put their best wide receiver, number 21, to the Catholic side. So I'm curious if they're having Parker follow him around. We just haven't seen, that look from Columbia yet. Coach, you may have done that at Lower Dolphin in your days as you try to match up your best coverage guy.
Yeah, no question. You always try to find the kid that you think you're going to have the most success against, and nothing against the young man, but he is a freshman.
Rob, I had a chance to see Lower Dolphin years ago. I had a chance to watch Tommy and Trey play. Tommy was your quarterback, went to Millersville, correct?
Yeah, he finished his career up at King's College, but that was my son Tommy. Yeah, he was our quarterback for 2 years. He was a starter and did a real nice job. That was a lot of fun coaching my own son.
What did he end up majoring in college? He's a little smarter than you, I think. Right?
Yeah, they both are. Yeah, he was a business guy.
Guys, we had another penalty on first down.
Yeah, they just keep shooting themselves in the foot.
I'll tell you what, that's their 7th penalty of the game, and many of them come on first down.
Yeah, early. Yep, you're right.
It's
early
been a disaster.
Drives.
Snaps
and it's
first,
hard enough.
1st and 15 here for Columbia.
Ooh, that could have been dangerous.
So here's what I just noticed. I should have called this earlier, but number 10 for Lancaster Catholic, Charlie Warren, he's a sophomore. So on this side of the field, they're playing a freshman and sophomore.
And a sophomore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was number 12. Aiden Miller was the target. They actually hit that same pass a little bit earlier. He's a nice-sized receiver. It was a safe pass, although it almost got tipped, so that was a little bit scary, especially right down here. We're still at 3:01 left on the clock. Lancaster Catholic could potentially get the ball back here.
Yeah.
He's going to use his feet.
He wanted to throw to number 12, Aiden Miller, and the outside linebacker, Gavin Trega. He stepped right in that, so he's lucky he didn't throw to.
I think he's
easy
his
pick
safety
6
guy.
here.
Yeah, I think he's his safety receiver.
All right, guys, we have 3rd and 12. Okay, you're making a good point, Rob. Do you really want to give them the ball back here? No, you don't.
You don't.
You don't.
So you're going to definitely let as much time run off the clock as you can.
I wonder if he's limping.
He did just get brought down pretty hard.
But he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's nice. Yeah, he's a nice-sized kid.
I don't think he's anybody Lancaster Catholic offering an ice bag at this point.
No.
He's still going to get the ball back with over 2 minutes.
So they're man-free. Lancaster Catholic is man-free again. Last time Columbia executed against that. Look at that speed. Look at that speed by Cunningham.
Face mask.
Face mask. So that's going to change things.
And
that's going to change things.
Is that a 5-yarder or 15-yarder? Is there still a difference in high school?
He did pull it off pretty quick. He might get the lead. He might get a little grace there. Let's see.
Well, I tell you what.
I'll tell you what, the officials tonight are doing a tremendous job. I know they don't always get a lot of credit, but I don't think there's anything we could see that was questionable. They've been on top of it.
They called a personal foul, so that'll be an automatic first down.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. And now with 2 minutes left, not that it really opens doors for them, but at least they don't have to worry about giving the ball back.
Okay, put us in the mind of the coach.
Well, not yet. They have timeouts left.
Do you take chances, guys, here, or do you say, look, let's just run the ball? If we get fortunate, we get a big play. Where are we at?
I think that's what most teams would do. But
yeah,
I'm
I don't
not
think
sure
Columbia's doing that.
And they are the Crimson Tide. Don't forget that.
And they just don't run the ball
when
that
you're the
well.
Crimson Tide, guys, you take more chances.
I guess.
Well,
but that's just not their strength.
They're 3 up top, one single into the single receiver down here into the boundary. It looks like Catholic is man-free again.
Okay, screen.
Slip screen. And that hasn't worked. It's the second time they've done it.
Yep, defended very well.
Yeah, Javon Parker's there.
Almost a duplicate to the play a little earlier.
All right, they've been doing it. Okay.
So they're not calling timeout, so now they may let the clock
I'm putting you on the spot, Todd.
Go ahead,
you're an offensive genius, I can tell. If you're doing that and that's not working, what's the next thing Columbia should try?
Well, usually when you do something like that, now you flash that and you throw a takeoff behind it.
Maybe get a deep
I don't think that's what they were trying to do there. I think they were just trying to get a play to see if they get positive yards, to see if they're actually going to go and try to score a touchdown. Now they may try to run the clock out.
Yeah, we got about minute 12 left here.
Lancaster Catholic didn't call a timeout there. They could have. They could have stopped the clock there and then tried to get the ball back. It looks like both coaches are trying to go into the half here. I'm kind of surprised.
Okay, here we go. Oh, he's going to throw it. He's going to throw it.
And that's
Oh my, it was tipped, but he caught it. If he gets loose, he's gone. No, great tackle.
Oh, wow.
Great tackle.
Number 11 for Columbia comes up with a huge
That's Damari Sims.
Catch.
Yep,
yes.
Damari Sims again.
So that was on the freshman, Brandon Way, and he's getting coached up right now by his dad.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so all of us in the box, it was easy for us to see that was a trick play. He's so new to this. that, you know, he hasn't seen plays like that much. So that's why he continued to come up in spite of the wide receiver.
I love that
taking
call,
off.
too, because of the timing. We kind of thought maybe they would try to run the ball, get some time off the clock, and it kind of set it up well.
Well, we're going to stay right here. We're going to talk about coming up at halftime is the Jack Giambalvo halftime report, the Capital Blue Cross and AT&T halftime stats, and the Capital Region first half highlights, all coming up here. We're going to hear from Todd Mealy and Rob Clark with their first half analysis. We also have a special interview with moi and Marvin Sanders, the athletic director, and Jessica Lane, student council advisor and a social studies chair here at Columbia, talking about all the exciting things happen with student athletes. That was before the game. Not a long interview, but a nice interview on student life here at Columbia.
So you have trips into the boundary, one-on-one down here at the Lancaster Catholic sideline. That quarterback tapped his helmet. Usually that means a fade. But this doesn't seem like they're going at the freshman.
Oh, nice. Over the middle. That's that tight end.
Yeah, but
nice. That's number 12.
He
That's
doesn't.
Aiden Miller.
He doesn't have a first down.
Half a
and
yard.
the clock is moving.
Clock is moving.
And they
not sure.
Oh, they did give him the. They did give him the first.
Oh, they gave him the first. Okay.
And to clarify for people at home, in high school football, the clock stops on the moving of the chains.
That's it's a relatively new rule.
Okay. Yeah, that is.
I think they started that about. Well, I mean, to me and you, Coach, that's relatively new.
Yeah.
But about 10 years ago.
You guys are old school. This guy.
Actually, there he is again.
Yeah, that's the receiver they're scared of. That's
great
really
breakup.
Defense.
Oh, they come in with a late flag. Referee on the far left side. You know what? That was a 50-50 ball. I saw him on his arm, but it was almost simultaneous. I don't know if we have an instant replay here to check that out, but, man, I'll tell you, that would be interesting.
That'd be nice to see it.
See.
That was junior Josh Acker that was breaking that play up. I think he's going to be penalized.
Here's an instant replay. Let's take a look at this, guys. I thought we had an instant replay there.
Okay, still 26 seconds left. So, again, decent amount of time. And what? They still have one timeout, I believe?
Yeah, they have a timeout.
A Upper Dolphin 14-0 over Susquehanna. Another score out there. Juniata beating Newport 24-0 second half. West Perry beating Trinity second quarter 20-0. Well, that's interesting, guys.
Okay.
There is 26.6 seconds left. And Columbia is showing some promise here, guys. They have a chance here to possibly put some points on the board if they could maybe get close enough even for a field goal.
Yeah, they're definitely relying on their passing game. Unfortunately, they really haven't had much of a run game. They faked it once and threw a nice pass off of it, but they do have some nice receivers. They have some athletes.
One of the things, Coach, we said at the top of the broadcast is that they have not put together a sustained drive. Could this be their first one of the year that they score on something that's not a big play? There's a crossing route there. They switched in the secondary, but he ran past.
Oh, that's a heck of a catch.
Yeah. So,
oh my goodness,
listen,
gracious.
That's an amazing play.
Wow.
But the difficult thing that I think Catholic just did to their secondary is that man switch. You know, so they're locked on before the play, which means their eyes are on the receiver right in front of them. When they run that twist route, they don't see that. They try to talk to each other, and I think the junior safety Josh Acker was late picking the guy running across the middle.
Hey, let's talk about Giles, though. Look at the rhythm he got in this drive. I mean, he has a big arm, guys.
And I do think his receivers, and I apologize, I couldn't get a number on that last one. I couldn't tell if it was number 5 or number 8. Okay, it was Boone, okay, but I apologize. I couldn't get the number there. It's Jaden Boone. That was a heck of a catch. Tell you what, we had a bad snap.
He could have kicked that.
Oh, wait a minute.
He's short. He's short. So
it is, but he did a nice play.
The snap was behind him. He put it down, but the kicker gave up on it.
Yeah, he thought it was not going to work out. Yeah.
Hey, and how about that? We're going to possibly go into halftime 6.
I think we're going to, yeah.
Wow.
But again, back to my point, I just wanted to say, I think Giles, real nice-looking quarterback, but I do think his receivers have done an outstanding job of adjusting to the ball in the air, making good catches, and again, that one tipped pass, so that helps.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back as we close out the half. We have a tremendous staff of coaches. We have Division I coaches that will be teaching players in their expertise area. Are the experience of a Division I player, the methods that come from being a Division I player, the technique that comes from being a Division I athlete, and the results that come from being a Division I trainer. There's nothing like it. Our coaches have all played professional and Division I basketball. They see the game from the mountaintop down, and they can teach players at every level, whether you're basic, average, or you're an all-star player. And we have developed college basketball players for years through this program.
Okay, we are back here. Now we have a kickoff. Columbia's going to kick off. 19 seconds. What do you think, guys? It's just important for Columbia to not give anybody a chance to return this.
Yeah, I think you squib
Well,
kick
they're not
it,
kicking
and
it. They're not kicking it.
They're not kicking it to that kid.
Yeah. Smart play, boys.
But here we go. We got some blockers.
Yes, he does.
It's exactly what you didn't want to happen. We got 9 seconds on the clock. They, from here, can take a crack at it.
You had 9 seconds.
30,
arguably
we're at the 38-yard line going in. It's going to be interesting. What an exciting game.
With 2 timeouts, there's not much you can do with 2, but you can use 1 here. But arguably the best wide receiver in their section
Again,
here.
This is where if you had a nice field goal kicker,
yeah,
you could play for that.
Right. Yeah, every football coaching staff should have a soccer recruiter. Find
Absolutely.
a kid on the soccer team that can kick the ball. And you had a guy named Joey Julius Robcock.
We did.
In 8th grade, you saw him kick a 50. Legend has it, you saw him kick a 50-yard field goal in 8th grade, and you made him come out for the football.
That is a true story.
So this is they're too tight or they're 8 set, but here's the play action, and they're running the twist
number
route.
4 down the
Yeah, there he
sideline.
is. Javon Parker. Oh,
okay. Good defense.
He threw
Good
it
defense.
late. He threw it late. If he would have put it right on him, about 20, 25 yards from the line of scrimmage, they would have had a big play there. He might have even stayed in bounds, cut back, and scored. He threw the ball too late.
Hey, but Columbia cannot rest because that quarterback has one more shot at doing the same thing.
And that was athlete on athlete because they were going after Damo Diaz-Ellis. Okay, and of course he's the really nice receiver that Columbia has, and the kid made a nice play. He's an athlete.
Camp Hill versus Big Spring. That's 6-6 right now.
Okay, so we got 3.1 seconds. See what we can do here.
We know where this is going.
And they're relying on a 3-man pass rush. When their receivers have to go 40 yards to score a touchdown, they should bring some pressure.
Yeah, they brought 29. Throws it.
Oh, I tell you what, that got through the first defender's hands. Lucky that safety got over top. That safety, number 11.
That will take us to halftime.
Damari Sims.
Okay, we're going to take a break, but a special interview. Don't go away. A special interview with Marvin Sanders, athletic director here at Columbia, doing a tremendous job, and Jessica Lane, the student council advisor. Special interview coming up right now. And following that, after a few commercials, we're going to have our Jack Giambalvo halftime report. We got a lot planned for this half. Don't go away, folks. I'm here with Marvin Sanders, the athletic director, and Jessica Lane, the student council advisor. She corrected me earlier. Marvin, you've been a great host. Man, we don't get 4 seats in the press box anywhere. So all you athletic directors out there, remember that. We need 4 seats if you want to make us happy. Marvin, great things happening here. You were a champion of getting your kids exposure at Columbia. I don't usually feel high school sports life. We don't feel this warm and fuzzy. Why are you so intent on making sure these kids in this school gets this kind of exposure?
Well, it started just by opportunity, you know. Opportunity is the key word here, and we want to make sure that we provide ample opportunity for our student athletes. So I want to be intentional in the fact that we're getting new coaches and new staff who has the same vision as I do to not only, you know, provide opportunity on the field, but outside the field and hopefully for the rest of their lives.
Well, thank you for that, Marvin. And tonight, I can't wait to go to the concession stand. It looks like it's loaded, and I know Jessica here is running that, but you have supports people like this. Jessica, history teacher, right? Yeah. Social studies, my best subject. Just saying. Student council advisor, what are some of the things that you guys are doing with these kids and some of the things you have up and coming here at Columbia?
So we have our upcoming homecoming dance.
We also have our homecoming court participate in the Mardi Gras parade, which is a big thing in town. We are hoping to have a powder puff game this year, bringing it back after quite a few years. Football is all on board with that as well, so that's pretty exciting. And we are looking to add a couple more activities because after a couple of years of just kind of having a little bit less, we're excited to bring everything back.
Columbia is not just a football school, although tonight they're a football school. We have two individuals here, and there's many more that are just doing great things in the community. We'll be back after these messages for more of our Jack Giambalvo halftime report.
The Jack Giambalvo family of dealerships. 9 great franchises in 5 locations. Buick GMC, Hyundai, Genesis of York, Statler Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Giambalvo Hyundai of Hanover, and our newest dealership, Jack Giambalvo Mazda. The Giambalvo family of dealerships. Over 30 million in new and pre-owned inventory. With a reputation for quality service after the sale, Giambalvo is proud to serve your community. Find out why. The Jack Giambalvo family of dealerships. 5 great locations. Online at Giambalvo.com.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rentals, parts, and service needs of its customer. Students, begin your professional journey in a high-demand field with Groff Tractor. Contact us today to discover the power of our technician internship programs. Groff Tractor also offers scheduled maintenance along with 24/7 emergency service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
We have a tremendous staff of coaches. We have Division I coaches that will be teaching players in their expertise area. Are the experience of a Division I player, the methods that come from being a Division I player, the technique that comes from being a Division I athlete, and the results that come from being a Division I trainer. There's nothing like it. Our coaches have all played professional and Division I basketball. They see the game from the mountaintop down, and they can teach players at every level, whether you're basic, average, or you're an all-star player. And we have developed college basketball players for years through this program. Post players are no longer just sitting around the basket. They need to be versatile. You need to see Coach Duke for that.
I'm the post expert. My 10 years playing professionally overseas in over 30 countries, and my 4 years playing collegiately at Fordham University and in prestigious Atlantic 10 taught me so much. I have to give it back to the kids. I only want young players who are serious about getting better. This is not a joke of an hour. This is an hour of hard work and getting better. Only sign up if you're serious.
Gerald Jarman, University of Richmond, point guard that led the greatest upset in NCAA history when a 15 Syracuse lost to the Spiders. Who was the starting point guard? Gerald Jarman on that team.
Any player that signs up for my junior point guard class will learn the foundations and skills to lead their team. My senior point guard class, I will teach players all the methods and IQ I learned as a Division I point guard at the University of Richmond. This class is technical, so bring your mind and your body in order to grow as a player.
Archie Smith, Alabama, defensive back and a top-notch high school basketball, scored 53 points in a game. He brings the combination of basketball, football, agility to the court, and he's going to teach players how to be quick, how to be fast, and how to jump.
I will take players for 10 weeks through a 1 hour of intense speed and agility. My background as a defensive back and top-notch high school player for hoops allows me to help young people get confidence and create better athletes along the way. Be ready to grind, be ready to get quicker, be ready to get faster.
Playing at the Division I level and having a chance to play against NBA players in my previous experience has been valuable for me. The shooting drills, the ability to get your shot off at a quick pace. We teach our players at every level how to build their shot for game speed accuracy. That's what it's all about. Sign up for these classes. Go ahead and go to the website. It's advancedhoops.com. Call us if you want to find out a little bit more about our scholarship program. This is too good of a program this fall. You want to get your spot right away.
D1 experience,
D1 methods,
D1 technique,
D1 results.
Okay, we are here at the Columbia Crimson Tide Stadium. I don't think any of us saw this coming in the first 5-6 minutes of the game when it looked like Catholic was driving on the 15-yard line, getting ready to possibly go up 13, 12, 13, nothing if they go for two. But, wow, Giles settled down, 133 yards passing. At one point, we had Columbia at a minus yards.
Still do, yeah.
Rob, what do you attribute the turnaround to?
Well, I think a lot of it is it's high school football and it's momentum, and you have to always win that momentum. And hey, compliments to the Columbia kids; they didn't quit because things weren't going their way. They kept shooting themselves in the foot. They had a turnover. They didn't quit, and I appreciate that. I always did as a coach, because let's face it, you could pack it in when things aren't going well. They bounce back, and again, some of their athleticism, some of the kids, the quarterback, the receivers are really helping them out. They're not running the ball.
And Todd, you're an offensive minded, you can tell, and you even have some invested understanding of what Catholic does defensively and offensively. But you almost have to appreciate. At one point, you and I were talking about what do you do when the quick flats to the right and left aren't working. And as soon as we said that, it was almost like they heard our conversation and looked up at the press box and said, "Watch what we're going to do." And they started trusting the athletes and the arm of Giles downfield. You had to be impressed with that.
Well, Coach Clark said it. High school football games are long. A lot of things happen in the course of a game. And somehow, in spite of time of possession and a disaster first down every series.
Yes. Penalties.
They were down 6-0 with 2 minutes to go in a half, and they put together, like a 95-yard drive to score here at the end on some big plays, a number of big plays. And that's a tip of the cap to what Columbia's coaching staff keeping that team together in spite of the penalties and the bad snaps, and the fact that Catholic was able to drive. That was one thing they could talk about. It's like they drove on us, but you kept them out at the end, so we didn't break. And so that's been working for Columbia. For sure.
We had some first half highlights. I don't know if we got them here, but Capital Blue Cross and AT&T actually stats, but we do the Capital Region first half highlights. I'd like to take a look at those, see if we got those. There they are, Capital Region Insurance first half highlights. I always like these. They kind of sum up really what happened. See some really nice plays here. Now you see Giles on that big drive, tied at 6-6.
That was a great adjustment by the receiver. The ball was a little bit to his left. He just adjusted. Sometimes high school players struggle with that a little bit, but he really helped his quarterback out there.
I think we might see an adjustment by Catholic's secondary because of what they saw.
Yeah.
It was the first time that Columbia ran that switch route.
Right.
I'm surprised they didn't do it earlier in the game. They called it a perfect time. And it's tough for what they're asking that secondary to do on that route. But Catholic offensively, their game plan was to run the ball, take a lot of clock, but they only have 6 points. So I think they'll still stick with that. But the thing is, they're so limited in what they're doing. Right? They showed 3 different formations. They didn't come back to the one they opened the game with, but they come out to the 2 tight end sets, and they're running 2 plays. So I think what you might see in the second half more is a little bit of the QB read, but also throwing the ball, whether it's bubbles or hitches to Javon Parker, who I'm sure is hungry for.
At one point at the end of the first quarter, we were talking about the stats were so lopsided Lancaster Catholic's way. Let's take a look at the Capital Blue Cross and AT&T halftime stats and see what we got here to look at. All right, you got Columbia with at 6-6. You got them with still minus 19 yards rushing, but that's not affecting the scoreboard right now. But look at their advantage in the passing area. Todd, talk about what you see on the Lancaster Catholic side.
Well, Catholic is held under 100 yards. Okay, but they're winning in time of possession by a significant number.
Yeah, by a lot.
The total yards that you're seeing Columbia have, 105 yards, much of that came on their last drive. Again, that was about a 94, 95-yard drive. So that's what you're seeing there. Otherwise, if they didn't have that drive and the score was 6-0, the stats, would really be in the favor of Lancaster Catholic. They just have to find a way to get in the end zone.
So the question is, can Catholic get their first quarter mojo back? But Rob, you're Columbia Crimson Tide here. Not that you're for them, but naturally you were reporting on them. Your Columbia Crimson Tide, what are these, Rob, if they can keep up what they did at the end of the half, what does this look like going forward?
I think their messages to the kids is, hey, we did not play a great half. We have negative 19 yards rushing, but we're tied in this football game. We have momentum. Let's go. Because I think they realize their athletes can hang. Well, I think they also realize, though, that Lancaster Catholic's offense is pretty powerful. So they have to do it now.
Well, the other thing, too, is as a coach, I think you would have to also say to the kids, look, big plays got us here. We can't expect that.
No,
we got to get the ball moving. I know you appreciate just that offensive line for Catholic is huge. Yeah. How much do you think, Todd, that might weigh in favor here of Catholic going into the second half?
Well, here's the thing. Columbia's defense, and they did a nice job adjusting the front.
Yes, they did, going to that four-man front.
So they're undersized, Columbia is. But the way that they're playing is like, let's just utilize our speed. And they're able to be faster than Catholic's bigger linemen. So, but you would like to, in spite of all that, you would like to see Catholic's linemen just create a wall. I mean, they're running split zone and power. You'd love to see them, control the gaps, have a solid kick out, and be able to get 4 or 5 yards a pop, which we saw in the first quarter.
Right.
We didn't see in the second.
I do think you're right, though. I think we'll see some progressions off that, whether it's a quarterback read or whatever the next progression is and whatever that combination of that play is. They've set it up very well.
Yeah. I mean, the problem has been that they're not that versatile in what they're doing. So they put in those new formations, just 3 plays, okay, and Columbia figured it out. Good adjustment going to a 4-man front.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for our Jack Giambalvo halftime report. We're going to come back for the second half and after a few messages and a few reads. Join us in a few minutes. This is going to be a good one. 6-6. Boy, this is the 4th week in a row that High School Sports Live has had a great pick for Friday Night Frenzy.
So a while back, I thought to myself, I'm never going to own a home. I'm going to have to rent forever. I didn't have money for a down payment. I had no credit history, and I just got out of a divorce. But PHFA showed me that home ownership is possible. They offer me a low-interest mortgage and a way to manage the closing cost. To me, this is more than just my home. It's a huge accomplishment and a new chapter in my life, thanks to PHFA.
Do you want to answer that?
Nah, I'd never with a kid in the car.
It's okay. I'm not here. I'm there.
The Jet Giambalvo family of dealerships. 9 great franchises in 5 locations. Buick GMC, Hyundai, Genesis of York, Stettler Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Giambalvo Hyundai of Hanover, and our newest dealership, Jack Giambalvo Mazda. The Giambalvo family of dealerships. Over 30 million in new and pre-owned inventory. With a reputation for quality service after the sale, Giambalvo is proud to serve your community. Find out why. The Jack Giambalvo family of dealerships. 5 great locations. Online at Giambalvo.com.
If you're looking for a quality used vehicle at a great price,
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford has the best pre-owned inventory, not to mention the best hometown buying experience in all of Harrisburg. With our market-driven pricing, you can be sure you're always getting the best deal. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade. And you know who's got Harrisburg's best deals?
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Hoffman Ford, just what you're looking for. Hoffman has it.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rentals, parts, and service needs of its customer. Students, begin your professional journey in a high-demand field with Groff Tractor. Contact us today to discover the power of our technician internship programs. Groff Tractor also offers scheduled maintenance along with 24/7 emergency service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
At Capital Blue Cross, there are more yeses and fewer nos. Protecting your health and making it easier so you can spend time on what makes you smile. Helping our communities, your families, your businesses, big and small. We have you covered, going the extra mile. It's what we do. Capital Blue Cross, going the extra mile for you.
Do you want to answer that?
Nah, I'd never with a kid in the car.
It's okay. I'm not here. I'm there.
Okay, we're back here at Crimson Tide Stadium, the Columbia home game here against the Lancaster Catholic Crusaders. What an exciting game, 6-6. It's been a great stint here for High School Sports Live this year. Every game is a good one, and this one is as well. We have a nice sports recovery for athletes. It's Rejuve, and it features the ultimate recovery. Led by Justin Showalter, Game Pass is the perfect formula for game day success. Increase energy, improves flexibility, decreases fatigue, reduce pain and inflammation, and more. Rejuve is sports recovery for athletes. Call 717-756-6082 and find out how to be a member and get services to enhance performance and recovery. And ladies and gentlemen, my son has actually participated and been a part of this, and it is great for kids that need to recover after a weekend, games, cryotherapy. They have all kind of stuff there, and it's really good, healthy stuff for kids and recovery. And a lot of the high school athletes through South Central Pennsylvania will visit that. It's located, again, in the Harrisburg area on 2578 Interstate Drive. Justin's a great guy, and he's building a nice program for kids. All right, guys, what do we think here? Lancaster Catholic's kicking off?
Yeah, they're not going to kick it deep. They kick at one of these up backs here. There it is.
Yep, more of a pooch. Nice, catches it.
Oh, they had a guy to make a tackle on the spot, and it's going to turn into a rather decent kick
It's
return.
Jaden Boone returning the ball here.
You talk about having momentum, Coach
Nice.
Flock.
Yeah, honestly, and you hear this all the time, but the first drive of the second half is so critical. And the fact that momentum went back and forth in that first half, Columbia, didn't have it most of the time, but when they did have it, it was pretty powerful. So I'm curious to see how they come out, how they drive this ball, and see if they can get that momentum back.
I'm impressed with Coach Brady Mathias, 25 years old, new, young coach. Sometimes when you're assistant, you take over for the head coach. They treat you like the substitute teacher, and they don't respect you as much. But these kids they're going to war for
They're
this
believing.
guy.
Yeah, they're believing.
Well, think about who they beat week one, their former coach.
Yes.
Eastern York,
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So there was a penalty on the play there, so they're going to start at, inside the 40.
I missed the flag.
I did too, actually.
Face
It
mask.
was a face mask. Thank you.
Wow, look at this. So you talk about scoring at the end of the half, Coach Clock.
Yeah.
Having the momentum.
Now getting great field position. Oh, fantastic.
Here at the Catholic 35-yard line. So they're 2x2, double set. And again, throughout the course of the year, this has been 56% pass.
Okay, no penalties. No penalties. That's got to be a key for them.
So Catholic look like they're man-free. They're showing pressure. They bring one of the backers. And they ran zone. It was a good stop by Catholic.
No, but I like the call. I like that they're trying to establish a run game.
I just want to say something for our viewers at home. If you think it's a little like a darker tone watching this football game, stadium lights are a little light. It is kind of hard to see the pylons out there. Might recommend a few more bulbs, at the Columbia Crimson Tide Stadium. But I just want to let you know that's not your TV at home. It is just the atmosphere here. Kind of makes for a little exciting.
It actually is a beautiful facility.
Oh,
this
it
is a fantastic place.
I coached here once a couple years ago, and what you just said is one of the things I talked about is how dark it is on the field with those maroon jerseys.
Yeah.
That ball hides a little bit.
It's a good thing they have white helmets.
Cunningham showing, and there he goes.
Screen.
Yeah. It's funny. He came off the block and made the play. That's Elijah Cunningham there.
It's going to bring up a fourth and good solid 10 yards still.
That was Steven Rivas caught that ball.
I'm sorry, a third down. I'm sorry, 3rd and 10. They went back to the screen again, Todd. I guess they're keeping them honest.
But they're swinging it out there. They're not really screening the defensive line. They're pass pro and they're swinging. They're depending on the receivers to block the perimeter. But the linebackers, especially Cunningham, is so fast that he gets there. So they're not having much luck with that.
Hey guys, East Pennsboro's 3-0, and they're getting their first test this year. Gettysburg's up 7-3 right now.
Doesn't look like Catholic changed their defense here. So it looks like they're playing that man switch defense. They're bringing edge pressure. That'd be good for Catholic. There it is. Oh.
Yeah, we got a flag down.
Mm-hmm. So they ran a twist stunt. They brought both outside linebackers in that 4-3 off the edge, and they slanted all 4 defensive linemen.
That's usually holding.
Yeah. And again, unfortunately, we're talking about momentum, trying to get it. They get the great field position, but here we are, 4th down.
What do you do, Coach Clock? So do you want 3rd and 20, or do you want 4th and 10 here?
I tell you what, that's a tough one, too.
It is tough. That's why I asked you before you asked me. Right.
Quarterback-receiver connection. I think they'll probably take this one early in the half, but we'll see. Oh, no, they didn't, Coach. They declined it.
Interesting, because that almost might make Columbia think about going for it.
So remember – sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I would punt from here. Seriously, I think I would go, but again, it's early in the half.
Here's what we see from Catholic in this set. This is a good defensive set, good 3 plays. They brought pressure, something they have not done all season. In all 3 plays, they brought pressure. And the pressure looked different.
Ball's on the 36.
Okay, trips up top.
And Cunningham's walked up like he's coming.
25-yard line is the first down marker.
Damo's got one-on-one coverage here at the bottom. There he is.
Oh, picked.
There's a couple ways to look at this, guys. You could get all bent out of shape because you threw an interception, or you could say it was incomplete and we're getting the ball at the line of scrimmage anyway. I mean, really just you ran it back basically to the line of scrimmage. So really nothing hurt for Columbia. Lancaster Catholic gets the ball. Boy, this is like a shootout out the OK Corral defensively.
Well, so, again, we talked about the adjustment, which is pressure. So they brought 5 there, and they allowed the young linebacker, Zach Dresch, to pick up the swinging running back. But they went man-free, which meant the safety, Josh Acker, was free, and he got over top the backside slant. So that's why we had to
I'll tell you what, Todd, when I get to a football dictionary, I'm going to understand half the things you're saying. Jeez.
There's some pressure.
Yeah.
Columbia's done a good job stopping the run. Early in the game, Lancaster Catholic was running all over them. Wow, great adjustment at halftime for Coach Mathias and his team.
Yeah, I think that was Stud Campbell that stepped up there, and they basically ran it right at where he was blitzing, so it really worked out for him.
Hey, so if you're a high school kid, you're walking through the hallway, and your nickname is Stud, it just speaks for itself. Stud. Here comes Stud Campbell.
Young man's name is his actual name is Stoudemire, so that is his nickname.
Here, they may move out of this. There it is. I was going to say that's a too tight full house, and they motioned out of that or shifted out of that.
A little confusion on Columbia's defense.
Yeah. There's jailbreak screen.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yep. And he can go. He'll cut that back. He's still going, told you. Touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
That's
a heck of a run.
This is a play of the game. Please mark that, folks. This is going to be our play of the game at one point.
Wow.
So we
unbelievable. We have to see a replay on that at one point.
We talked about that at halftime, is that he's the one person who didn't touch the ball. We thought maybe Bubbles, maybe Hitches. Second play here, they ran jailbreak screen, and they blocked it well, and then he broke a couple tackles.
Look at this develop. Oh, my goodness. This is the best run I've seen in high school football this year, guys.
That was very impressive. But, again, we're back to Columbia didn't take advantage, didn't get the momentum. Lancaster Catholic didn't waste any time. They have it. I'd say this really sits well for them the remainder of the half. Let's see if the Columbia kids hang their heads or if they come back like they did in the first half.
Wow. That's
missed it.
He missed it.
660. Is that 64 yards? Ooh, missed field goal. Missed field goals tonight.
Miss extra point, wide left.
Well, note that. If Columbia scores, all they need is a field goal to go up by 1 there. Well, listen, what an amazing third quarter already. We got 8:38 left, but we are going to take a break and catch our breath after that. We'll be back in a minute.
Do you want to answer that?
Nah, I'd never with a kid in the car.
It's okay. I'm not here. I'm there.
The Jet Giambavo family of dealerships. 9 great franchises in 5 locations. Buick GMC, Hyundai, Genesis of York, Stettler Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Giambavo Hyundai of Hanover, and our newest dealership, Jet Giambavo Mazda. The Giambavo family of dealerships. Over 30 million in new and pre-owned inventory. With a reputation for quality service after the sale, Giambavo is proud to serve your community. Find out why. The Jet Giambavo family of dealerships. 5 great locations. Online at giambavo.com.
Pooch punt. See how that's working out for. There we go. Then that kind of worked out for him. The ball's going to be on the 35-yard line. No, 30-yard line. Todd, talk about Parker and his ability.
Well, he's got an interesting story. He started out at McCaskey High School, played there his freshman and sophomore years, ended up transferring to Lancaster Catholic after a sophomore season, toured the building the spring of his sophomore year, heading into his junior year. His tour guide on his tour of Lancaster Catholic was Cranford, the quarterback. And so he was hoping.
Oh, now we get it.
He was hoping to play quarterback at Catholic.
It's all coming together here, folks.
And on the tour, he's talking about quarterback. And Will never mentioned that's what I play. And they hit it off, and it certainly worked out for the two. Will's the quarterback. Javon Parker is certainly happy playing wide receiver and having a phenomenal senior year.
Well, can you imagine that conversation? Will's like, hey, if you come here, I'll make sure I help you set the record of the history books here. I'll just throw you the ball every time. I'll give you a piece of my lunch every day.
There's a pass to Aiden Miller again, his little safety valve for about 4 yards.
Yeah. And Parker's there on the tackle.
Yeah, he's tough on both sides of the ball.
No, that wasn't Parker. That was, sorry about that. That was R.J. Gonzalez on the tackle.
8 minutes, 21 seconds, 8:08. Clock's a little delayed here. 8:05 and counting. We're in the third quarter. It's 12-6. The Lancaster Catholic Crusaders over the Columbia Crimson Tide.
All right, Catholic's playing zone. They've been showing this to 3-by-1 formations a lot, except in definite passing downs. They've been going man under, one free safety. Now,
oh boy,
they missed a receiver wide open on the sideline, and the quarterback's down. He's getting up slow.
Yeah, Jaden Boone was wide open.
He was wide open
on the Lancaster Catholic sideline.
And again, Catholic is playing a freshman, Brandon Way, at corner. They keep him to their boundaries so they can talk to him. Those coaches were yelling it out. Little Brandon, the play's going on. He didn't hear the coaching pointers. They were lucky. Because this game could have been tied, and who knows how the extra point would go,
Yeah, and that's tough. Rolling to your left, and they probably shouldn't have thrown it back across the middle. But, again, he's an athlete. He's trying to make a play for his team.
It almost seems like it's going to be who has the ball last here, guys.
Well, let's see if Columbia can put one in the end zone.
Yeah. And I think it's going to take a big play. They're not going to drive the ball. They haven't yet, other than through.
So they're man under, one free safety, and there was confusion because of the motion. And there's a penalty, delay a game, and Catholic is lucky. Look, if you watch out there, you can see it on your screen there. The secondary, look, Brandon Way, the freshman, he's being coached up now. He should have followed the motion guy, and he stopped. So Catholic, again, is lucky.
And again, Columbia shoots themselves in the foot. You can't overcome that every single drive.
especially early in the drive like that, it just really hinders the process.
Okay, so in definite passing downs, Lancaster Catholic has gone man under, one free safety. That means for all the wide receivers, they have someone locked on playing man-to-man, and they keep the free safety. Number 10, Charlie Warren, they keep him free. It's worked out for him one time. They had an interception running this defense. It's interesting they play all the man-to-man defenders at the same level. Oftentimes you see them press when they're playing some kind of man under and then safeties behind.
You got some pressure.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
There's the pressure. That's been the defensive game plan. So the game plan, Coach Clark, the game plan, the adjustment at halftime is this. We're still going to run our coverages. We're just going to bring pressure.
Yeah.
It just seems like Giles, eyeballing it from here, it just seems like Giles is wearing down. This is a lot on him right now. He's taking a big load. He's starting to get frustrated.
I think his offensive line is having some difficulty. The Lancaster Catholic defensive line, and with that added pressure, like you said, Todd, they're doing a really nice job.
And now he has to punt the ball. It's like this kid is doing everything but serving hamburgers at the concession stand tonight.
So Catholic didn't make any changes here. They don't have anyone backfield.
They don't have anyone back deep.
It didn't matter. Didn't matter. That's going to bounce backward.
Well, I think it got back to the original line of scrimmage, actually. The referee did not move. That ball went back to the original line of scrimmage at the 20. And so Lancaster Catholic Crusaders take over at the 20. But you know what? Let's not count Columbia out. They were in this situation at the beginning of the first half, somewhere in the beginning of midway through the first quarter, I say, and they answered defensively and got the ball back, and that's when they had that first score.
Yeah, they need that now. They need a little bit of confidence. They need something good to happen for them.
On the Lancaster Catholic side, though, they need to take advantage of this and try to put this game away.
Definitely.
What I find really interesting is that they played Christian Fields a lot in the backfield. You know, the starter all year has been Terrell Crawley. He's gotten a couple carries, but he has not been in an offense that much.
Throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Decides to pull it down and run it.
He's really good at that. He's not that big. Will's not that big, but he's really tough and he breaks tackles.
This is a game
doing his career.
This is a game of inches. Little things mean a lot. So that goes from being a 3 to 4 yard loss. Get tacked. They hold on, breaks through the tackle. Now it's almost a first down. We're looking at a 2nd and 2.
This is interesting. Hudson Hess is their H-back, like their fullback, and he's 1 by 1. And
bad snap.
Catholic got it back.
Yeah, they did.
That was so close to being Columbia's ball.
So they were trying to run Hudson Hess across the formation, coach, to run split zone.
Split zone,
and they didn't handle the snap.
And that would have been the opportunity. We were saying Columbia needs something good to happen. That would have been it right there. Unfortunately, they couldn't take advantage of it.
Wow, big score just came in. Harrisburg 30, Carlisle nothing. That's a statement game there, guys. Carlisle put 47 points on the board against York. And for Harrisburg to be at Carlisle, 30 to nothing, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Lancaster Catholic comes out with 3 receivers down to their sideline. But again, the third one is their H-back. They are throwing it.
Did release.
Oh, he tried to throw it back, and he went for That's out of bounds.
We're running out of real estate there, folks. Running out of real estate in the corner.
He wanted first to throw to Charlie Warren, number 10, who was running a post. And so he was covered, so he checked with the number 2 receiver and just threw it out of bounds. So, Coach Clark, we got 4th down here.
Yeah, decision time.
Well, you know who has not touched the ball this series? Javon Parker.
Yeah, that's he's probably the guy you always want to go to.
Well,
now's the time.
Coach, he took the defensive set off, and he hasn't touched the ball in 3 plays. I think he said something to Will when he run the play back in the huddle. We'll see. So 3 receivers up top, 1 receiver down here, 1 in the back, 1 back in the backfield. Who's in the pistol?
We got 2 receivers right there. Nice catch.
That is a nice catch.
That's number 16, Hudson Hess.
Yeah, it's an H-back that was blocking 2 plays ago.
Yeah, and he's a good target, Coach. He's 6'1".
Well, and this has been a game where it's been like pulling teeth to get the ball in the end zone, and now with Catholic opening up a 2-score, it almost seems like they're up 50, because it's such a big margin for how hard it's been for Columbia to move the ball.
Okay, it looks like they're going to take advantage of this and work on their kick game. Hopefully, throughout the year they get better.
So 19-6 would be the ideal goal here to make it really tough on Columbia here. Yeah.
And success.
And it is.
Exactly. Give the kids some success. Get them a little confidence.
So Coach, that gives them a 13-point lead. As a coach, maybe you could talk through this a little bit. Do you want to make it a 2-touchdown game, 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points, or do you like the 13?
I like what they just did.
Yeah.
I like what they just did, and because of their situation, that their kicking game is not being all that successful, give that young man a little bit of success. Let him get some varsity experience. Again, I don't know how often he's played, but I think that's a positive.
Well, let's take a break, and we'll be back, and it'll be Columbia receiving the kickoff when we come back.
If you're looking for a quality used vehicle at a great price,
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford has the best pre-owned inventory, not to mention the best hometown buying experience in all of Harrisburg. With our market-driven pricing, you can be sure you're always getting the best deal. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade. And you know who's got Harrisburg's best deals?
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Hoffman Ford, just what you're looking for. Hoffman has it.
And we are going to see a kickoff here from Lancaster Catholic to Columbia.
Hit one of the up men. Good job.
It's like an onside kick.
Looks like number 57, Chris Sabino, jumped on it.
Chris Sabino's been all over the place tonight.
Yeah. That could have been disastrous, though, and I don't know if that was necessarily intentional, but that could have really been disastrous if it bounced off one of those front guys and went back the other way.
Well, it doesn't seem like Lancaster Catholic has any intention on kicking it deep. So they tried pooching it. Didn't work out for them as we came out of the half. You can recall that, Coach. So let's squib it. Maybe it hits a lineman.
Yeah.
Maybe
and it almost worked.
Hey, that was that last pass here completed a 4-play drive. 4 plays.
So 2 plays and 4 plays.
Wow.
And Catholic gets on a roll. They get on a roll pretty good. 4 plays, 30 yards, 1:51 the time of possession for Catholic.
Kyle's going to use his legs.
Yeah. Cunningham's there.
Ball came out.
It's out of bounds. But I tell you what, so before the game, we talked about in a pregame show his role on defense. The 4 lead linemen are tough to block, and his job is to spy the quarterback. And where the quarterback last year at Columbia, he scrambled and looked to throw. This one scrambles and looks to run. And so you put that spy on him, and Cunningham is doing a great job with his speed. You know, that's a 4-yard pickup, but I tell you what, if it was somebody else, that's a bigger play.
Robert Footman, 500 yards in this same game on September 17th last year, not 16th like tonight. 6 touchdowns, 4 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns. That was historical.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
Now Millersville has him.
So they brought pressure again, bringing 5, and there they go.
Yeah, they are struggling with that front group. That was one of the down linemen. 78 made that tackle there.
Yeah. Now, what we haven't seen from Columbia is really the screen game. They've run the swings, the swing to the back, but they haven't run any jailbreak screen, I think, but one time maybe, Coach.
Guys, what do you got? Give me your opinion. Giles, next level. Is he a wideout? Is he a quarterback? Depending on the level. Like, where do you guys, Todd? Where do you guys see him? If he wants to play college football, where do you guys see him?
Well, I haven't seen him enough to give you an informed answer. What I've seen tonight, it depends on what level he wants to play. If he follows his former teammate Footman up to a school like Millersville, I don't know if he's going to be a quarterback there. When you look at his mechanics, there'd be a lot of development that he needs.
Right.
But that's saying, okay, he played behind Footman and hasn't played a lot of varsity football. But I see him going and being like a wide receiver at that level. I'm suspicious of how fast he is.
Yeah.
But I see him, playing at a Division III level, and he can probably choose his position at that level.
Yeah, and I'm not as up on football as you, but I could see him in an outside linebacker role. It's a very tough kid.
I think I'd recruit him as an athlete, and I think I'd see how his body changes because I see potential for growth. I could see him as a tight end at the next level.
That's true.
That's interesting.
3:13 here. Looking at 4th down. They're going to go for it.
Oh, boy.
He can't catch a break. Giles can't catch a break.
Yeah, and there's that Dresch.
Yeah, it was him again.
Yeah, they can't handle the pressure, so they're going to have to do things at it quicker. They're going to have to throw the ball quicker. They could try running it, and if Catholic is bringing pressure, they could pop one because they lose that linebacker over top.
Hey, while we're exchanging possessions here, let's talk about some games in the area. Gary Sutton, my friend at home, cannot hold back. Central York 35-0 over Spring Grove. We got Wilson 35-0 over Reading. State College 35-7 over Altoona. Kennerdale 26-21 over Eastern York. Exeter 22. Governor Mifflin, to go 4:20 to go in the third quarter, and now we're back to Lancaster Catholic on the
jet sweep,
end around jet sweep. Got number 8 with the ball there.
So Cranford actually read it, and it developed quickly. So I don't know if it was power read where they read the defensive end, or if they're running some variation of midline out of the gun.
That closed in quick on R.J. Gonzalez. He looked like he was getting ready to take off, and boy, Columbia closed in on him pretty quick on that right side.
I'm surprised Will didn't keep it.
All right, if you're Columbia, you got to make something happen here. You got to stop it now because things are starting to go downhill fast.
Yeah, this has been a good set for formation for Lancaster Catholic this half.
And there it is again.
Yeah, there's
great play.
Great play.
And that's what I was saying in the first half. Columbia's defense, they dial up those blitzes and those. They did just enough. I think this game would be really out of hand if it wasn't for the defensive strategy of Columbia, just to try to keep the rhythm off for Catholic.
Yeah, I think they moved they moved the defensive line on the snap, like slanting them. Lancaster Catholic was running like a counter tray where they're kind of pulling two, but one's the fullback, the H-back, and they slanted right in the gap and got him in the backfield.
And hey, that was Stud Campbell on that last hit. I just love saying Stud Campbell. Good pressure.
Oh, he's lost.
There he is again.
Cranford wanted to throw early, and the receiver wasn't looking.
Yeah, that was Campbell applying the pressure, and then he had help from one of his teammates there. Okay, 4th down, so it looks like Lancaster Catholic's going to punt it back. So, hey, good job for the Columbia defense. That was a good job. Now, let's see what they can do if they get the ball back and get some momentum.
Last time we had a bad snap here on Lancaster Catholic's punt attempt, but it doesn't look like Columbia's bringing pressure. Doesn't look like they're coming after.
Nah, I think you're right. 3 guys are rushing. Ooh, nice high punt.
Fair catch.
Boy.
He muffed it. It went out.
You know, I'm not saying this in any negative way, but that was a way to use your head. You know, I'll tell you, because that ball going out of bounds and not staying in bounds was a pretty good bounce for Columbia.
That's funny.
That could have been disastrous.
You know, in a way, it worked out for Columbia because that thing was going to bounce and they were probably field it inside
That's
the
true.
10.
Yeah, that was Damari Sims, the kid that's had some really nice catches.
That's the extent of what I have to offer football-wise in this broadcast. Hey, a couple more scores, guys.
Got it.
Fairfield over Biggerville, 18. I can't catch a score there. Hold on. Gettysburg leads East Pennsboro at the end of the third, 14-3. Solanco 19. Effort a 17 at the end of the third. New Oxford 29 versus Dover 18 starting in the fourth quarter. Wow, what some good games out there. Woo. We are 19-6 here. Columbia getting another shot at it.
We're sitting at 1:05 left in the third quarter. Looks like some pressure's coming. I'm not sure what that was.
They should throw a flag here. There was not a receiver in the area.
And he was in the pocket.
They often throw these late. There
matter.
it is.
It's high school football.
They often throw intentional grounding flags late.
Well, you know
they
what?
talk it over and then they throw it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm doing?
If he was in the end zone as a safety, I can't tell from my vantage point where he was.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't.
Guys,
I don't think he was in the.
I'm going to say, good for you guys. Don't take another one of those hits.
Yeah.
Hey, a big score. Manheim Central 49 over Susquehanna to 0. Ooh, 49 to 0. That's a biggie. There's a lot of big lopsided scores out there tonight. Okay, here's some more. Penn Manor 7, Cedar Crest 2. Wow, that's a baseball score in the fourth quarter. 7-2.
Remember, in high school football, that is a loss of down as well. So this should be second down, I believe.
I'll tell you what, you got to, I mean, guys, people at home need to understand Columbia AA, Lancaster Catholic 4A, correct? 3A, 4A? 4A.
Okay, last I paid attention, they were 3.
Okay, 3. All right, they're playing they're playing up here. Columbia playing up, playing a bigger school. Hats off to them. They've made this a game for a while. Let's see what they do here.
There's the pressure, bringing 5.
Okay, there's that safety valve again.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice pass out to Aiden Miller, his tight end.
Guys, Giles, back to Giles. When he's been able to set up, he has a nice ball.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he has a nice ball, got some distance on it. It's a laser. It gets right to the spot. I mean, any quarterback, I mean, Tom Brady, if he gets pressure, we don't see the same Tom Brady. But, man, this kid, I got to give him a lot of credit at quarterback here. I don't want to take that away from him.
Yeah, when he looks comfortable, when he's allowed to look comfortable.
Yeah,
the kid's a nice ball player. But like you said, anybody under pressure, things change a little bit.
And look what happened to Will Cranford when he got pressured a few times. It didn't go his way. In the first half, we saw a couple tough passes.
So this is interesting. On 3rd and long, Catholic took out Dresch, their best pass rusher, and brought in Kellen Murphy. I wonder if his limited downs has something to do with that decision.
It could be.
Oh, that's intercepted.
Oh, that's going to be picked.
Oh.
Nope.
Well, that might be a penalty there. He got hit while the ball was in the air, 21.
Did you see a flag?
They didn't throw it.
And that will be the end of the third quarter.
I would love to see an instant replay on that one because I don't know if they missed that, but 21 got nailed as the ball was in the air. Do you think that the tip was that ball tipped?
I couldn't tell. I don't think so.
It was not tipped. No.
Okay, this is the end of the third. That's the end of us for the moment. We're going to go to break. We'll be back in a minute. It's still a ball game here, guys. 19-6.
If you're looking for a quality used vehicle at a great price,
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford has the best pre-owned inventory, not to mention the best hometown buying experience in all of Harrisburg. With our market-driven pricing, you can be sure you're always getting the best deal. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade. And you know who's got Harrisburg's best deals?
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Hoffman Ford, just what you're looking for. Hoffman has it.
So a while back, I thought to myself, I'm never going to own a home. I'm going to have to rent forever. I didn't have money for a down payment. I had no credit history, and I just got out of a divorce. But PHFA showed me that home ownership is possible. They offer me a low-interest mortgage and a way to manage the closing cost. To me, this is more than just my home. It's a huge accomplishment and a new chapter in my life, thanks to PHFA.
Okay, we're back here at the Columbia Crimson Tide Stadium. Total yards, 36 for Columbia. I'm sorry, I'm looking at that wrong. Third quarter. Yep, 30 yards, third quarter is actually a Lancaster Catholic 90. Another minus 16 for Columbia, just not moving the ball. Lancaster's had the ball. Or Columbia had the ball 4 minutes, 51 seconds, and Catholic 7 minutes, 9 seconds. So you see the difference there. The stress has been on the Columbia defense.
This is 4th down. They're punting. Catholic does not have their punt return team in. They have no one back deep.
Nobody deep again. Bad
snap.
Well,
they didn't come after it.
That's a favorable bounce compared to the kick for Giles. And I'll tell you what, guys, hats off to Giles. I mean, we're going to pick a Huffman Ford player of the game, but I'm going to give a special trophy myself on the way out of here to Giles. I'll tell you, that kid he might even be driving the bus home for these kids. I mean, he has done everything tonight. I haven't seen a high school kid have to do so much. Rob, you've had kids over the years named Tommy Clock who've had to do a lot for their team. And talk about the small school having to use kids to do a lot.
Yeah, and a kid, unfortunately some nights they take a thumping, they take a beating throughout the night. But you know what? Their teammates remember that. And, maybe they did blow a block or something like that and the kid gets caught. And, we've had some kids over the years that, they won the respect of their teammates by just being that tough guy and getting back in the huddle. So here we go, Lancaster Catholic with the ball. Oh, whistle on the play.
Timeout. They're missing their safety.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
They only have 10 guys on the field.
That's correct.
Hey, here's a score. Central Dauphin 0-3, but man, lost a close one to number 9 in the state Coatesville last week. They're actually up on Chambersburg 14-6 in the third quarter. They need a confidence win.
Yeah.
But that just shows you how good Mid-Penn Commonwealth is this year. You got Chambersburg that good to be that close. I mean, that's a barn burner. There's not a day off. There's not a night off. There's not a week off in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, that is a tough division. It always has been. But in certain years, it's crazy. Anyone can beat anyone.
This year, Altoona's, East, Chambersburg, there's not one team that you can say can't beat any other team in the league. Any other team. Gettysburg, 21-3 over East Pennsboro. East Pennsboro is most likely going to get their first loss here. John Denniston doing a great job with that program. Southwestern leads Dallastown with 7:35 to go.
Some pressure.
Yeah, that was a good call because Columbia brought both inside linebackers. That had potential to go all the way to the house there, Coach.
And, Coach, I love that. Old school fullback. It's just the old toss. It's beautiful. I love it.
Toss to the tight end wing.
Yep. The game has evolved. You don't see much of that anymore. There's so much spread. I appreciate to see that mixed in once in a while.
So that was Christian Fields who ran it. Now he's also getting up slow, and he's getting checked out by the trainer. But you bring up a very interesting point. As the game evolves, coaches, they keep up with that. And as there becomes turnover in coaches, they forget how to defend some of the original plays, that started this game. And that's one of them.
It's very cyclical. It comes back around. I mean, when all these reading offenses started going, it was old school option. It was just a different way of running it.
Hey, let's talk about this. Coming up at the end of the game is the Capital Blue Cross post-game report. We'll have some special stats from Ray McCarty sitting over there with his little scratch pad, and Travis Sparks at home giving us some valuable information as well. And also the Huffman Ford player of the game, Capital Region Insurance Agency's play of the game. Boy, we know what that one is. Number four.
So far.
And we got to discuss our next game. Our next game, guys. We can actually start discussing it now. Cumberland Valley at Harrisburg next Saturday at 1 o'clock. Did we pick a good one there, guys?
Yeah, you did. There's some classics in that one. I could tell some stories growing up in Harrisburg. By the way, Christian Field, he ran off the field, put weight on his foot. He's fine.
That's good. You never want to see a kid. Ooh, wow.
Nice bounce. There's Elijah Cunningham.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is a difference maker. You're right.
Yeah, he's a difference maker, and he seems like he's becoming their guy.
I'll tell you what, I am impressed with his athleticism, his strength, and, you see it at these AA, AAAs, 4As, even 5As. Kids are playing both ways. How about that? I mean, 6A, it's like it's entire, like 7, 8 guys switching on offense and defense, a different defensive lineman, offensive lineman, maybe a couple guys going both ways. But
so this is unbalanced line here, power to the tight.
Boy, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Columbians, Columbia Crimson Tiders, to bring him down.
Coach Clark, you got to appreciate this offense. I mean, you had sons who were linemen. Like kind of like glorified linemen.
Absolutely. That's exactly what Trey was.
Right? Yeah. And they're running power. They're running counter Trey. So in other words, for those that are listening and watching this broadcast, it's a lot of gap scheme. So where the line blocks down, they're gapped to their inside, and there's usually another running back type that's kicking out. The last guy in the line of scrimmage.
And they do a nice job using that H-back to do that kick-out block. They've run that split zone a bunch of times. This time they just lead with it.
Now.
And he just goes into the end zone.
Oh, wow. Christian Fields benefits.
Okay, we got a flag in the end zone. There's going to be unsportsmanlike. I just didn't see if it was Columbia acting first or Catholic.
It's a frustration foul, I'm sure. It's tough because these kids, Columbia's home. They don't want to lose this game, and it's slipping away from them.
Well, and that's what I get worried about now, too, like the Columbia players. I hope their heads don't go down. They got to, regroup, try to put a solid drive together, try to just get back a little bit of confidence, because obviously things aren't going their way tonight.
Player of the game. We got to start thinking of it. Any early fourth quarter candidates here, boys?
Well, you mentioned Parker. I don't know if that's my vote yet, but I need to think about this a little bit more. We need to, I think, consider some people on that defense for Lancaster Catholic. Ed Dresch has been a force up front. We can take a look and see how many yards Columbia has, and it's not many. Particularly take a look at the rushing yards, which is way in the negative.
Way negative.
And Dresch, he's done a lot on both sides of the ball. And oftentimes, Coach, you can talk about this. People blocking, their name's not getting called, but they're opening up holes for people to run through, and he's been getting the job done on both sides.
Hey, those last 2 extra points, I'd have a little bit more confidence in the kicking game if they need a 15-yard field goal or 20, maybe a 30-yard there. That was pretty good. Last 2 look good. Let's give some credit. We've been getting on the kickers all game. Let's give some credit to the kicking staff here.
Yeah, and Charlie, I was going to say the same thing. That one looked very smooth, again, give this kid an opportunity to get a little confidence for later in the season. Yeah, he did a nice job there.
Okay, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be back after one of our commercials. We'll be back.
Groff Tractor is your full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction and many other leading brands, serving the total sales, rentals, parts, and service needs of its customer. Students, begin your professional journey in a high-demand field with Groff Tractor. Contact us today to discover the power of our technician internship programs. Groff Tractor also offers scheduled maintenance along with 24/7 emergency service. Groff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
Gavin Trega.
Okay, Lancaster Catholic will be kicking off. There was a penalty assessed on the kickoff, so we will be kicking off from the 45-yard line.
Yeah, it must have been a 15-yard penalty.
The 45-yard line.
Yeah. So, tip of the cap to Gavin Trega, with the last 2 extra points here. Let's see if he kicks this one in the end zone.
Yeah. He's on a roll.
Yeah. Their game plan was not to kick deep, but, Coach.
I'll tell you one thing you can do.
Look at this, onside kick. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. It is
Offsides,
a perfect time to onside
kick. That's good. That's good to practice for future games, too.
Yeah.
That's because you don't have a lot of scrimmage opportunity to work on against opponents.
So that's something we did a couple years ago here at Catholic when I was coaching them, something I worked with Coach Way, who's a special teams coordinator. You have to tell the players that there's a rule now, Coach Clock, that you can only have a certain number of players on this side of the hash as opposed to the other.
Yes.
And when you try to do that, good for the officials to recognize that they overloaded one side.
Okay, guys, I got my report card from Gary Sutton at home. Talking too much. Yep. I got a C for talking too much. He said, okay, knowing what I'm talking about, I got a D. Hold on. Transitions, B minus.
Okay, get better.
And Gary gave me appearance. I can't tell you what he gave me on appearance. But anyway, Gary, thank you. You keep them coming and you keep the scores coming. Gary is my man, and he is our standard setter here at High School Sports Live. And, wow, how about those pregame interview, the coach interview, the Columbia documentary. And, fans, I want to say at home, go to hslivetv.com in a few days. We're going to have the Columbia town documentary up on the website for you to watch at home. Gary Sutton did a tremendous job with that.
Oh, boy.
And, yeah, they picked up a block.
One guy to stop him.
Oof.
And he did.
Ooh.
The kicker made the tackle.
Oh, man.
So we got to tip our cap to him again.
That kicker. I'll tell you what, that shirt, if he would have had the tearaway shirt, that kid would go all the way.
I think that was Damari Sims again. That kid's got some wheels.
So we have Anthony Leone down. But I tell you what, if you're the only one being evaluated, I'll take that as a tacit A for both Coach Clock and myself.
I can't tell you what Gary said about you. Rob, I will tell him he called you tall, dark, and handsome, Rob. I'll tell you what, I do want to say one thing to Gary if he is sitting at home. I'm never doing this again, okay? You can't be under the weather anymore, or I'll call Travis Sparks. But, no, I enjoyed this tonight, and gives me a chance to be a little more in touch with what's going on these broadcasts. High School Sports Live has a great schedule, folks. Go to hslivetv.com. You're going to see the Harrisburg Cumberland Valley game. I'd say every game's been picked well. I thank Coach McNamee from CD. I think Matt Ortega from Coatesville. I thank Irby from Steel High. I think all these coaches in the area that when midsummer I start calling around, or May, Coach Rob, I start going, hey, Coach, who do you think's going to be good? What's going to be a good matchup? And then you get that, oh, stay away from this game. Oh, you really want to get that one on TV. And let me tell you something. We don't usually get it wrong. Almost every game has some kind of big deal, big story. And that's the credit to all the people giving feedback in the area.
Well, I got to tell you, it is special for the kids. You know, they get a chance to get on TV, and if they have family outside of the area, and they can watch it from outside. And I remember a couple years
online
when I was coaching, we were so happy to have this, and kids' grandparents got to see them play.
I'm pretty sure we did Tommy's senior year.
Susquehanna Township.
Susquehanna Township. Oh my gosh! What was the final in that game?
Oh God, 42-40 maybe. It was an unbelievable football game.
Okay, that year, Todd McCall and I were talking about it. That year, we had so many last-second kicks to win the game. That was probably the most unbelievable year because I had people say, how did you pick the schedule? I said, to be honest with you, I don't know. It was kind of, I just go with the coaches. Whatever the coaches tell me, that's what I do. You know, and people need to know when we pick a high school sports side schedule, we don't pick a schedule saying we're always going to have this team on. We start from scratch every May and we say, who should be on TV this year? Relevant games. And sometimes if it's the same school 2 or 3 times and that's what the people at home need to see, we'll do it. And the other thing too is we also don't want a pick on a school that it's just maybe a down year for them and they're going to feel like embarrassed putting their team on TV and the score's going to be 50-0. You don't want to do that to a school. It might be a down year for them.
Right.
So from the coach's point of view in this conversation, it's something else for them to do during the week, and sometimes it can be annoying, Coach Clark. You know that.
It can be a bit of a distraction.
But you said it.
But it's for the kids.
About the players.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that opportunity you're creating for the players. Now, just speaking of Lancaster Catholic, so we had a torrential downpour in Lancaster on Monday. They didn't practice outside. On Tuesday, they had a big cross-country meet, which took up both the football stadium and their practice field, so they were not on the field on Tuesday.
But was the basketball court open inside?
Well, yeah, they practiced. Well, hold on. Not the main court because there was a volleyball match.
Oh, jeez.
So they practiced in the auxiliary gym, which was really tiny.
What about the midget baseball field? No?
They were in the auxiliary gym.
Lord.
So that was their preparation at the beginning of this week. Okay. And then you're bothering Coach for stats and rosters and all that. So.
Okay, Giles is back at 2nd and 7.
Okay, better protection.
Okay,
he rolls to his left.
Arm.
Nah, it's going to be picked.
Okay.
And he can go. That's Parker. He can go.
Parker has a chance to seal the deal.
Yeah, but usually there's a block in the back. Okay, we almost got a block in the back. I was just going to say, Coach Clark, you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
When the person intercepts the ball and then reverses the field, that's when you get the penalties.
Yeah, but it might have been wise for him to go down there.
I know.
We are on the Antenna TV channel. Hey, tune in to Football Frenzy on Fox 43 main channel. I'll be doing a summary on the live broadcast or the news tonight on the like a post-game wrap-up. Typically Gary Sutton does that, but I'll be filling in for him. So pray for me because I got to come up with some good stuff there for Todd Sadowski's wonderful, wonderful, amazing Football Frenzy broadcast coming up at 10 o'clock.
So we have just under 9 minutes to go in this game.
26-6. The score does not indicate, folks at home. If you just tuned in, let's say you're coming back from gymnastics or dropping your kid off or picking them up from somewhere and you just tuned into this game. This game was 6-6 at halftime. It was 12-6 in the third. Columbia was fighting, clawing, and I think this was just a battle of the wills being broken here for Columbia. But, man, they get the Courage Award here, the Columbia Crimson Tide, for the battle they put up in this game. That will be, and Lancaster Catholic, if they go on to win this, will be 4-0. And the last time Lancaster Catholic, I remember there was a coach a couple years ago in 2018, 2019 that won 20 games and only lost 3. His name was Todd Mealy right next to me. Todd, you have to, when a coach leaves a program, the things you built, you always want to see it continue. This must warm your heart to see this program experience in fruit here just a couple years later.
So I appreciate you asking that question because Chris and I coached together since 2004. almost every year since 2004. I gave him a heads up that was my last year in 2019, and I gave him a lot of head coaching responsibilities to try to prime him for this.
What a job he's doing.
Yeah, what a job he's doing. And, the coaches that were on our staff, the one that stayed was Brandon Way, Coach Way, and everyone else left. So Jared Scher is now the defensive coordinator at Manheim Central. He was on our staff with Chris and myself. Gordy Eck is kind of retired from coaching. He was the offensive coordinator during that time. He's from Columbia, Gordy Eck is, but he played his football at Lancaster Catholic. And he was someone who informed me about this rivalry when we all made the move to go to Lancaster Catholic.
Henningkamp, still the athletic director?
Yeah, Rich Henningkamp.
I want to give a little shout out to Rich. Every time I've ever called Rich to do a basketball game at Lancaster Catholic, to rent a gym, Rich calls back. Rich bends over backwards to help kids. I got to give a lot of credit. I hope he's watching. Maybe he's here. I don't know. But Rich Henningkamp has always been about kids. I'll never forget we did a shootout there where they had like 5 games in a row. And Rich said, hey, there's a lot going on here. We got somebody doing online. We got somebody. But Charlie, just find 2 seats and film the game. We'll make it work. I said, thanks, Rich.
Ooh, yeah, nice ball.
Well, that's Javon Parker, little comeback route here on the sideline, and he stayed in bounds, so the clock runs.
Yeah, that was smart. That was smart.
But I'm going to sing Rich's praises as the AD here because he's giving Chris Maiorino a shot here, and here we are, almost at the end of this game. And if it holds tight, he's 4-0 here.
Hey, Exeter, 29-6 over Governor Mifflin. And yeah, they don't have the big dog that went to Penn State, but let me tell you something. Exeter upset Governor Mifflin in the district title last year. After getting beat by him pretty good early in the season, and man, they're putting it to him. 7:30 left in that game. Let's see what else we got here. Scores. What do we got here? Oh, Hempfield 42 over McCaskey. Manheim Central 49-0 over Susquehannock. Oof. Okay, there's a punt by Lancaster Catholic. That ball will go out of bounds at the 27.
So that's Gavin Trega with the good job catching a high snap.
It was, yeah.
You know what we haven't said? We've been calling him kicker, but you know what? He plays a defense. He's made a lot of plays on defense as well.
That's true.
So.
Yep.
Hey, how about this? Elizabethtown will go to 4-0 after tonight. They're winning 27-17. Well, that's if they go on to win 27-17. It's going into the fourth quarter at Red Lion. That's a 6A. That's a 6A win, and E-Town is a 4A.
Yeah, and that'll be the first. If they don't score any more points, that'll be the lowest total they've had this year. They're scoring a lot of points.
They are. You know what though? One thing they are doing, and every team can't have it all. They are giving consistently 20-some points a game up, but they're outscoring their opponents. Coach Stokes, first year East Carolina grad. Played a little stint, bounced around a little NFL a little bit. Great job, doing a great job at E-Town. Lower Dolphin had a tough game with them the other night as well.
Coach Stokes, he spent time coaching at Coachville. He spent some time coaching at McCaskey and Manheim Township. He's done a lot of coaching.
Oh,
Todd, you've had some interaction, some experience, and some time with Matt Ortega at Coatesville.
Yeah.
What an amazing coach. What an amazing job he's done, not only with Coatesville, he was Chomp's defensive coordinator. Passed up head coaching jobs. Naturally, we don't want to say which ones they were because it throws under the bus anybody that has that job now. But to be Chomp's coordinator, paid off. Chomp gets Chomp's big recommendation, gets the York job, turns York around. D1 after D1 player, wins nothing but winning seasons at York. Right. Coatesville recruits him, and boy, Ricky Ortega at Villanova, back off injury, first year actually getting a chance to possibly play. And
don't forget about the other son, Tommy.
Tommy's a lacrosse player at Lindenwood, but man, he should be a football player somewhere too. But here's the guy, Buggy Ortega.
Right.
Oh, the Buggy, 9th grader. Might have a chance to be a 3-year starter after Susie graduates, and Susie's got some D1, D2, great, one of the best quarterbacks in the state. But let's talk about the job Matt Ortega's done. Yeah. They're 9th or 8th in the state right now.
Yeah, so he and I go way back. We're both from Harrisburg. He's a little bit older than me, but we got to play against each other. He was a senior. I'm a freshman. He went on going to St. Francis. He played free safety at St. Francis, became a defensive mind. And then I started coaching at the age of 19 under Scott Feldman at McCaskey, and Matt Ortega was his defensive coordinator. And so I coached for a number of years with Matt before he left us to go to Harrisburg for Chomp for 1 year, and I'm grateful. You know why? Because that made me a young 23-year-old defensive coordinator. But he, then he went to York, and he's done what he's done at Coatesville. And that Coatesville job was risky because I think he went 5-5 his first year, and people were like, "We need something better."
And he took it over, and they were 7-3. So it's not like they were down,
right?
But 2 state title appearances.
Right.
I mean,
district titles, league titles.
Yeah, almost made it state final. Harrisburg knocked them off for 1 year. I'll tell you what, Giles has put together, 16 for 17 for 23, 160 yards passing.
And Aiden Miller has showed me a lot tonight too. There he caught another ball. He's got nice wheels after the catch. He's a nice target. I'm really impressed with this kid.
Yeah, let's get back to the game here, guys.
Yeah, so what we missed during that Matt Ortega diatribe was that Dresch was down for a bit. Ed Dresch, number 9, who's made a lot of plays. He's injury prone as it is, and now he's on the sideline.
Oh!
What a nice ball.
Good attempt.
Giles, you know what quarterbacks don't get credit for this. It almost should be a stat that says, okay, yeah, you might have been 0 for 1 on that pass, but the guy should have caught it, right? Right. But you don't, when you see 7 for 14, it's like, it should really be like 7-14, but really it should be 10 for 14 if the receivers caught the ball. In fairness to quarterbacks.
And that is that connection. That's that Damo Diaz Ellis. And, usually he comes down with that. Unfortunately, he couldn't get that one.
Well, Aiden Miller, 5 catches, 46 yards. He's been productive tonight. That's for sure.
Ed Dresch is back in the game.
Good.
So Lancaster Catholic is man under, 1 free safety.
Nice catch there.
I tell you what, the freshman, little Brandon Way, he held on there.
Well, and there's another example, Rob, we were talking about earlier. Look at when Giles has a chance to set up. Look how sharp his ball is.
Yep, that was Damari Sims on that catch. Came back to the football, did a real nice job. Actually, you're right, though. It was very well defended.
Yeah.
Ball just got through there.
Yeah, and he's big for a freshman. He's strong. He's fast. We're talking about Brandon Way here, and he held on. Otherwise, that could have gone much better.
Yeah.
They have a dig route in the middle of the field. They missed it.
Yeah, you got a holding penalty.
Ball, yeah.
The longer those linemen have to block, the more the temptation is to figure something out, and it's tempting, and it got him right there. Okay. All I asked you guys to do is do not tell my wife I drank a Pepsi during the broadcast, because, and trust me, she's not watching this, okay? And none of her girlfriends are watching the broadcast either to tell her that I said this on the broadcast, but you guys aren't allowed to tell her that I drank Pepsi. I was supposed to be off this stuff. Oh, Lord. Problem is you can't drink water during the broadcast. Read between the lines there, guys. You just can't drink water. All right, so we're back. It looks like Columbia is going to be, Giles is going to be in a first down situation, but they got a long way to go here, guys. It's going to be first and almost,
I'll tell you what,
22.
To
First
put pressure,
22.
they just moved Ed Dresch to defensive tackle, and they ran like a loop stunt with the Dresch and
Go down.
And there's the pressure.
Yeah, that's a big sack, but there I was afraid of him getting hurt. I wanted him to go down. I didn't want him to try to do something crazy.
Terrell Crawley, number 5, the safety coming out of it. That's a safety's dream to get a sack,
I'm glad he did that. He has played almost every position for Lancaster Catholic's defense in the course of 4 games. He's played, weak side, safety. He's played all 4 linebacker positions. So they've moved him around, and that's tough, Coach Clark, to say to a kid, we want you to learn something different every week. But he apparently has the mind to do it.
But you know what? It's nice to have a kid that can do that.
Right.
When you have the utility kid and they just want to play ball, you love that kid. You remember him at the end of the year when it's at the banquet or whatever. You get him an award for, being that kid, that all-purpose kid, because every team needs at least one of those. It's nice if you have a couple.
Yeah.
Lancaster Catholic's defense should get a little more credit from our broadcast team. I know we're talking a lot about their offense, but man, they have 10 tackles for loss here, making it tough on Columbia, and a lot of those are the sacks. And Giles Giles is saying amen to that. He knows it's happening. He's part of that.
We had a penalty at the end of that play, but it's third and what?
Yeah, third and still a good 20, 22. Third and about 20, 21, yep.
Let's see if they bring pressure here, third down. Linebackers are walking up. Dresch is standing up, but he's in a D-tackle position, so let's see if he loops. There he is.
Oh, boy.
Okay, we have a false start here. Columbia's not helping themselves. That's going to bring up a third and 26.
If it's a hassle, don't worry about it.
It's kind of hard to see the the markers from here. Todd, I need a little help here. 10, 12, yeah, because it's the far sideline.
Well, even though there are penalties, the clock still keeps moving. In Columbia, they don't have a sense of urgency here. Just 3:15 left in the game here.
A lot of running room here for Giles.
Okay, showing his athleticism. Got the first down.
Coach Clock, huge play on 3rd and 1,000,000, right? 3rd and 30. The game plan adjustment was to bring pressure.
Wow.
And by bringing pressure, you lose the spy on the quarterback. And plus, because of the score, they've taken Elijah Cunningham, who was the spy. He's not in the game right now.
Yeah. Hey, and I just was handed this number of penalties for Columbia tonight, 11.
Wow.
Yeah, and that just always early in a drive.
Well, we saw 6 in halftime stats. We saw 6. And I was going to ask you at halftime. We ran out of time here. What you thought of that? And yeah, it's a biggie.
That's something they're going to have to work on. Can't have success if you're just constantly digging yourself a hole. But that was a nice athletic play. Giles showing his athleticism. Step up. Here we go again.
This young man's something else.
Yeah, that was smart.
And if you missed Giles' pregame interview, go watch that at hsslivetv.com. You can rewind that back. It's during halftime. But Dejon Giles did a tremendous interview with Gary Sutton. What a well-spoken young man he was.
All right, so again, Columbia, their team, they know where they're at in the game. There's only 2:47 left. But if they could score here, get a little momentum, get a little confidence, that goes a long way with a bunch of kids who are, maybe struggling, trying to find themselves. So let's see what they can do here.
False start.
There's penalty number 12. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a lot of frustration right now. They're losing focus. Sometimes we forget they're high school kids. They're 14, 15 years old.
One thing about this Lancaster Catholic program that Chris has put together here in the last few years is 3 years ago, their numbers were low. They had they were feeling about a 30-man roster.
That's tough.
And Will Cranford, the quarterback, was playing corner. He was starting in the secondary while starting at quarterback. Now that's not even thought. So Chris has been, him and his staff has done a great job getting people out for the team.
Boy, a lot of pressure. And another sack.
So that's 54. Kellen Murphy got there first.
Okay, guys, Huffman Ford player of the game. My vote is Jade at number 4, Lancaster Catholic. Where are you guys at with that?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on it. It really was that one play that put me over the top. But, yeah, Parker, I think, deserves it. He is quite an athlete. Yeah, and there were other deserving kids, but I think that play did it for me.
Yeah, it's like the overall body of work, right?
Yeah.
So he's got 66% of the vote. So because of that, he wins. I'm going to go somewhere else, and I'm going to cast my vote to Ed Dresch because of what he's done on both sides.
That's something Tommy Mealy, your brother, would have did. That's something Tommy Mealy, your brother, would have did. Hey, while we're on the broadcast, before we go out, Todd, I did want to say to you, and I talked to Tommy earlier, you were able to play on a state title in 1995 at McDevitt with my cousin Billy Seibert, who passed away at 34 years old. He was a good friend to both of yours, actually best of friends with Tommy. Actually called Tommy all the time at McDevitt just to tell him what he thinks he should do in his job. They were just buddies, but he passed away. But I just wanted to thank you guys. I know Tommy was like a pallbearer at the funeral and whatnot, but Billy was a heck of a teammate, wasn't he?
No, he was. So he was a year older than me. He's in a class ahead of me. But he spent a lot of time over at the Mealy house playing Rumble Fumble in our yard and also our basement. You should see our basement.
And he ate a lot. He had a big appetite.
He ate a lot of
Billy.
our food, too. My parents were appreciative of that.
Cousin Billy.
My mom likes to feed people, so she was happy that he ate.
Well, I'm glad we're talking about it because my Aunt Rita watches every broadcast, and that was her beloved boy, and he was our beloved cousin. And I'm sure she'll be happy that we gave him some credit. And heck of a linebacker too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a significant
field goal kicker.
Yeah, he was a significant contributor to that team. You mentioned about the kicking, but we had 4 really good linebackers, and he came out late. So he wasn't a 4-year player for us. He came out late and ended up becoming part of that linebacking rotation on the state title team.
Right.
Yeah.
And that head coach that year was?
Fort Chapman.
That's right, Fort Chapman. And Fort will be with us actually, I believe, next 2 weeks. He'll be sitting in that chair. And nothing against you guys, but when Fort does a broadcast, there's only one other guy there, and that's Fort. Because he's the guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like da-da-da-da-da. And Gary does a good job. You got to rein him in. But I'll tell you what, the guy's an encyclopedia for knowledge, isn't he?
He's a savant. There's no question. Ford's one of my college teammates. He is just amazing at his trivia, his knowledge, and his stories are fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody does it better.
I watched him play quarterback for Cumberland Valley against Steel High when I was in 5th grade. I don't know. And just amazing high school player.
Well, big 33 player.
Big 33 player. That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot coming up at the end of the game. We have the Huffman Ford Player of the Game, the Capital Region Insurance Agency Play of the Game. We know what that is, number 4. Mark that, guys. And we just have a lot going on at the end of the game here. Capital Blue Cross Post-Game Report, Huffman Ford Player of the Game, Capital Region Insurance Play of the Game. And then we'll talk about our next broadcast. We'll do a little wrap-up, and then we're going to do a report on Football Frenzy with Todd Sadowski at Fox 43. But this game looks like it's all in the books, 17 seconds and counting. These players are really good sportsmanship here. But I'm going to tell you, if we could ever have 2 players of the game, the winning team and the losing team, I would call it the Giles Award. Because this young man for Columbia, he punted, he kicked it, he made a couple of hamburgers and concession, all that. I mean, and I didn't really see, I saw a leader out there. I know he's frustrated a few times, but he still kept cranking, kept getting in there, get back in there, and he ended the game with a positive drive rather than a negative drive. Hats off to Giles. I know we can't give him player of the game, but, buddy, if we could, we would have did that for you because you deserved it tonight.
Well, Lancaster Catholic was clearly the better team. I think we were all surprised it was 6-6 at half. And it was a dominant second half.
13 tackles for losses for Catholic. And we will come back, and when we come back, we're going to have our Capital Blue Cross post-game report. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go away. We've got a lot in store for you.
All across Pennsylvania, families are living their lives in their own homes. Not long ago, none of these families believed it possible. And then they discovered there was someone who could help. What was once only a dream is now a reality. Welcome home.
The Jet Giambavo family of dealerships. 9 great franchises in 5 locations. Buick GMC, Hyundai, Genesis of York, Stettler Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, Giambavo Hyundai of Hanover, and our newest dealership, Jack Giambavo Mazda. The Giambavo family of dealerships. Over 30 million in new and pre-owned inventory. With a reputation for quality service after the sale, Giambavo is proud to serve your community. Find out why. The Jack Giambavo family of dealerships. 5 great locations. Online at Giambavo.com.
At Capital Blue Cross, there are more yeses and fewer nos. protecting your health and making it easier so you can spend time on what makes you smile. Helping our communities, your families, your businesses, big and small. We have you covered, going the extra mile. It's what we do. Capital Blue Cross, going the extra mile for you.
If you're looking for a quality used vehicle at a great price,
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford has the best pre-owned inventory, not to mention the best hometown buying experience in all of Harrisburg. With our market-driven pricing, you can be sure you're always getting the best deal. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade. And you know who's got Harrisburg's best deals?
Hoffman has it.
Hoffman Ford, Colonial Park.
Hoffman Ford, just what you're looking for. Hoffman has it.
We wake up with the sun. We live in a place we're proud to call home. For us, it's knowing that those we help are neighbors, friends, family. As the leader in providing the best orthopedic care for our community, we come together to do our part.
Okay, we're here at Columbia Crimson Tide Stadium, and let me tell you something. We're at the Columbia Crimson Tide Stadium, and the score's 26-6 if you can see the scoreboard. But man, it didn't feel like it for a long time. And hats off to Columbia for just fighting. They're a smaller school. Lancaster Catholics, a little more success at a higher level in AAA. The guy standing next to me to the left is Todd Mealy, who 20-3 a couple years ago. He's excited to see the success of Lancaster Catholic. Todd, did this go how you thought it would in the end, or you know, what were you thinking going into this game?
Coach Clark and I were talking before the game. Okay, we were talking before the game, and I kind of said I thought Catholic would win by 4 scores at halftime. I was really reconsidering what I said to Coach, but you know, nonetheless, the second half was pretty dominant.
Well, good. And Coach Clark, I know you were a quick study on Columbia. You said that before the game, and you actually were a quick study. You had them down pat. Your thoughts? Columbia battling hard.
Yeah, they are. I think they have a ways to go. One thing, they have to clean up the penalties. Too many negative parts of a drive. Like, they kept shooting themselves in the foot. Just some stats here. Their quarterback, Tukey Giles, did a great job. He was 19 for 30, 182 yards, threw a touchdown. He did have the 2 picks, but he's just trying to make something happen. It's only his second and third interception of the season. He's a ball player. He has some receivers. I think they have some work to do, but I don't think it's, a nightmare. I think they could have a positive season. I think some really good things could happen. These kids are some athletes.
Yeah. Our play of the game,
right,
was amazing. Number 4,
Javon Parker.
Yeah, our Capital Region Insurance Agency play of the game. Talk about that play. I mean, I haven't seen a high school kid do something like that in a long time.
Well, Parker had 2 catches for 95 yards.
Wow.
He's a playmaker. There's no secret about that. He's certainly the best wide receiver in that section, one of the best in the entire LL League. That was 2 plays out of the half. Coming to the second half, it's 6-6. Columbia kind of took it to him in the second quarter and had the momentum.
Look at the moves on this. Man, it's amazing.
Yeah, so it was a jailbreak screen. And the lineman did a nice job getting up the field to get to the second tier to block the linebackers and even the safety. And then when Columbia players finally rallied to him, he was about 20 yards down the field, and then he amazingly broke 2 or 3 tackles. I think right along the sideline there.
Yeah, I think the Columbia coaches can use it, too, to show the kids, hey, this is not how we tackle properly. I think probably about 6 or 7 kids touched him at some point during that run.
Do you agree with me that if Giles could get the second player of the game, we should give Giles, if you could do that?
Yeah, Tukey Giles, I think he deserves, a lot of credit, because the kid did keep getting back up, and, that could get really frustrating. As many times as he was hit, as many negative yards as he had, because it's sacks, and you can't hold that against the kid.
Well, the Capital Region Insurance play of the game happened to be Javon, but also the Huffman Ford player of the game is him as well. And just overall, defensively, he was there. Offensively, there. Todd, talk about just him as a player. Can he play at the next level? Can he play college football? And at what level would you put him at?
Well, that's tough to say because I'm not with him every day.
Right.
There's a lot of things to consider. Coach Clark can speak to this too. What kind of person are you? What kind of academic are you? But just with pure athleticism, I see him playing for any PSAC team out there. And if he keeps making plays like tonight and the competition gets better, then you can start to see like 1AA schools coming around for him because he's one of those guys you put him in a box and he's tough to tackle.
Well, and does he take Will Cranford with him?
You mean to college?
Yeah, because that's the young man that Will took with him.
Yeah, so
when he was showing him around the school.
Yeah, which is a great story. But Will's one of the few players still on his team that I did coach, and I was able to check out practice earlier this week. And it was nice that we got to catch up. And he said to me, though, the unfortunate thing is I haven't grown much. So certainly he can go along with Javon, but, I think if he wants to play football at the next level, he might be looking at different schools. But what we should mention is he's an outstanding baseball player.
Wow. Yeah.
So I think that's what he's going to be.
He's an all-around athlete. And that's what I tell you, a lot of people don't realize this. All these specialty sport people out there, college coaches are looking, and I've heard it from them myself, they want the multi-sport athlete. It's a different kind of kid. It's a kid that's cross-trained. They get injured less. They're well-rounded. What a great game tonight. We have a broadcast coming up. Unbelievable. Two undefeated teams in the conference, but Cumberland Valley, Harrisburg, our next broadcast. Folks, 1 o'clock next Saturday, but we're going to tune in early for the pregame show. Ford Chapman, it's fitting. He'll be color commentating the game with Gary Sutton. He played at Cumberland Valley. A lot of history in that matchup, Harrisburg.
Where's the game at?
That is at Harrisburg.
Oh, because you had mentioned that the Cumberland Valley Field is named after his dad.
Named after his father.
Yeah, it is. So that next broadcast, don't forget that. You can also go to HSS Live TV and watch any of the reruns for any of the shows and go back and forth. You could send this video to anybody you know out of state, the link. But ultimately, our next broadcast, we're looking forward to it. I'm Charlie Fortney. This is Rob Clock. Todd Mealy, you guys did a great job tonight.
Pleasure.
We're looking forward to the next broadcast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having us, Charlie.